for you conveniently on 3501 James Street, 324 West Water Street, 401 South Salina Street, all in Syracuse, New York, as well as on 343 Fayette Street in Manlius and on the corner of Route 11 and Taft Road at Sweetheart Corners in their drive-thru location. You can also go and check out Cafe Kubal by going to cafekubal.com anywhere in the world. Cafe, Kubal.com. So make sure you check them out today. I was at Cafe Kubal yesterday grabbing myself some hot tea for this throat, for the pipes, because I've been sick, been under the weather. So you got to take care of those vocal cords, right? You got to take care of, yourself, really. And it was so, I think I got ginger lime tea with honey, and it was awesome. Awesome. I saved myself a little bit this morning, so I'm probably going to have to fill it up in my cup here in the studio, but because I like to bring them to the studio the next day when I got a little bit left over. So thank you to Cafe Kubal for helping me take care of my pipes, and thank you for all that you do. Happy to be at Cafe Kubal multiple times this week. We were out there just a couple days ago as well when we did our live dolphin dive takeover with the Lemoyne women's and men's swimming and diving team, and we had a great time with them. It was the day they were leaving for the NE10 championships. They've been doing well thus far, and I pray and I hope that continues for them. And so definitely looking forward to sharing that news with you as it comes in, and very thankful to have Caitlin Longway and Bilal Ali join me on the broadcast. They were tremendous. So always looking forward to doing great things with great people in our community, and always love getting to have these conversations. And we had a fantastic time at Cafe Kubal. You should definitely check it out. Go to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt, click subscribe, and it is right there in our video archive. So make sure you tune in. With that being said, we're happy that you're here with us all around the world, wherever you are, Central and Upstate New York, the East Coast, the West Coast, the Midwest, and all around the world on youtube.com, facebook.com, and mixlr.com/wakeupcalldt, as well as on facebook.com/livenowdt and on wakeupcalldt.com. Today's show jam-packed. You know what it is on a Friday. We have our signature segments, a trio of signature segments, and a new segment we have brought in over the last couple months here inside of MonPazPopcorn.com's What's Poppin'. We're going to start things off with the annoying moment of the week, proudly presented by Carvel DeWitt, 4322 East Genesee Street. It is what happy tastes like. Then we'll jump in at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time with Lead, Learn, Evolve, Adlib, and Deliver is what the acronym stands for. Created in 2019, right before the pandemic, because God is good and God had a message to send, and I'm happy to help be the messenger for that. So we're going to talk today about the topic in Lead, celebrating your faith. Celebrating your faith in today's world. We'll talk about that and in any world. So Chick-fil-A Cicero, Chick-fil-A Clay, proudly presenting that. At 10 a.m. Eastern Time, we'll head to the NFL. The awards have been given, and our top dogs of the week will be mentioned in conjunction with those awards. Top dog of the week, K9 Kamp Dog Daycare and K9 Kampground Dog Boarding of East Syracuse. In my opinion, the best and only place to bring your dog for proper care. Shout out to Lorraine and the team. And then we'll round out today's show at 10:15 a.m. Eastern Time, an all-new 2 mics, no filter, featuring myself and Andrea Smith as we tackle the topic of having it all. We started off in connection with sports about Tom Brady and Gisele, the divorce. Did that mean that dreams versus relationship, is that where things were at? We don't know, but we use that as a gateway conversation of why can't you have it all? Why can't you have a romantic relationship and chase your dreams and be able to marry those together without having to get divorced? And I talk about my own personal experience with that. So we'll talk about that with Andrea in hour number 2, have some fun, and speak on relationships, having it all, and making sure you're taking care of yourself. So a lot of great stuff coming up here inside of the Cafe Kubal studios. First thing we're going to do is get into that annoying moment of the week. And that is our longest standing segment on Wake Up Call, currently in year 12 of the annoying moment of the week and our partnership with the wonderful, longest standing Carvel franchise in America, Carvel DeWitt. Let's get into the annoying moment of the week.
Dan Tortora proudly brings you...
Is that for real? Are you kidding me?
The annoying moment of the week.
I'm really honest. I don't know how to respond to this.
Presented by Carvel DeWitt, 4322 East Genesee Street. It's what happy tastes like.
You have to be that crazy. I guess so.
The annoying moment of the week this week for y'all folks. I love the annoying moment of the week. It gives me an opportunity to speak about anything, to have some fun, talk about stuff that could really go anywhere, right? My annoying moment of the week would have to be, for this week, it would have to be there's a few different ways to take this. And I would say, well, one of the things that annoyed me this week, let me talk about this. This is one thing that annoyed me. This is like a very personal thing. I don't like when movie theaters don't have a lot of show times for a movie. And in the case of Avatar, I thought the movie was doing well, right? So I saw it when I was on the cruise, but I was, hanging out with my buddy Isaac. Y'all know him, Isaac Elford, who's here on the show, Tortora and Elford. And so him and I were hanging out, and I said, man, let's go. Well, it was earlier this week. I said, let's go see a movie, right? Let's go check out a movie. And we were talking about, what movies were out there, and I was naming off different movies, and we chose Avatar, right? And so I said, all right, let's go see Avatar. I'll check some times. And at the time, it said there was only one at 1:15 in the afternoon. And I said, oh, that can't be right. They must be adding some. Because if you don't know, if you don't go to the movies a lot, they set the schedule for the week on Thursday. So sometimes on Wednesday, they'll kind of let you know what's going on. But I was like, I want to go see a good movie. I want to have some fun. I want to enjoy it. So let's figure out, what's going on, right? And so we're checking things out. We're trying to figure it out. And we decided on that one. I said, all right, let's go see that movie. Let's have some fun and, relax and kind of just cool out, and watch something fun. And I know this movie's pretty darn good because, I've seen it, but I missed the opening of it. So, I want to go see it and get the full effect of Avatar and whatnot. I mean, and they had it here in 3D and in the community, so I was like, we can go see it in 3D, we can go, see it normally, we could have a good time with this thing, and I was really, really looking forward to going to see it. So then all of a sudden, it's not in 3D, it's just like regular. I'm like, all right, that's fine, but, whatever. So we're trying to figure it out. We decide we want to go see that movie. I said, all right, when the times change, I'll tell you what times are going to be available. We'll go see the movie. So I checked the times on Wednesday, and I was like, this got to be wrong. The time, nothing, there was one other time. It was at 6 o'clock, and I had an event last night, and I said, all right, well, we can't go see that movie, so what other movies are available? The other movies available were a movie that I had seen, in its entirety, and, it's one of those movies where, it has, the twist to it, so once you, see the twist, you don't really, you don't have to see the movie anymore, right? Because it's kind of like when I went with my dad to go see Righteous Kill, and that was with Al Pacino and Robert De Niro, and once I knew the ending, I had no reason to see the movie again, because I already knew what was going on, So it was like, So this one, I was like, I don't know if I want to see it, and Isaac's not really into scary movies, and neither am I. So the other movies that were available were Megan, and I have an ex-girlfriend named Megan, so I'm cool on that. And there's also it's that ventriloquist, I just don't, I don't roll with that. So people that know me know I don't do that little doll stuff coming to life and all that. It's just weird, and I don't like it. So that was a hard pass for me and for Isaac, and I'm like, yeah, we're not doing this. What's up, Ross? Have a great Friday show. Thank you, buddy. Good morning to Mama. Appreciate you. Love you, Mom. If y'all have a mom like mine, give her a hug. Go and see her. Hang out with her. Have lunch with her. Tell her how amazing she is. Because they, your moms, your dads, everybody needs to know that, right? I'm very blessed to have my mother and my father. I'm very blessed to have relationships with both of them that are positive and good in, here and today. So make sure you love up your parents. You let your parents know you appreciate them. You celebrate them. You celebrate your time with them because time is precious, folks. And y'all should know that by now. But if you don't, I'm telling you so that hopefully you will believe me and go do something with mom and dad today, or go do something with dad today, mom tomorrow, whatever. But make sure you go see your family and make the most of the time that you have with them, because time is absolutely, positively precious. So don't waste it. With that being said, we're here inside of the annoying moment of the week with the opportunity to give you my thoughts on, this movie stuff. And then we're going to talk a little bit about dating too. But in this movie world, I'm sitting here saying to myself, okay, well, so I'm reading them off to Isaac. I'll tell you which ones were in there. So there's a movie called Plane. That was a really difficult title to come up with, I'm sure. But it's about a plane. I know, spoiler alert. But there's a movie called Plane. I was like, I'm not really feeling that movie. And I fly a lot, so I'm not trying to see a movie like that. And I was like, so there's a movie called Plane. There's a movie called Megan with the doll. I'm not doing that. There's a movie it was called, I think, Infinity Pool. Another scary movie. And Isaac and I were laughing about it. He's like, dude, I'm not trying to do that. I'm not trying to be up at night after that. So we don't go see these scary movies. But here's the thing. January and February, this is when movies are kind of blah. There's not a lot going on. Now, granted, Marvel's kind of caught on to this. So on February 17th, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, a.k.a. Ant-Man 3, is coming out. But you got Titanic, the 25th anniversary. People can go out and see that movie. And I'm thinking about, what about the date movies, right? There was a Valentine's Day movie made. Where are the romantic comedies? There's no romantic comedies. You can go see Titanic. You can go see Magic Mike's Last Dance. And, that's pretty much it. So I was like, where are the movies? Where are, the romantic comedy movies? Where are, the buddy movies? None of this stuff was going on. And I'm like, man, this kind of stinks. So we didn't end up going to see the movies. Just went and got some food last night, enjoyed some dinner, laughed, had a good time. One of my brothers in Isaac Alford. So truly, that's family right there. So we had a good time, but it was my annoying moment of the week because I like going to the movies, and it's been a long time since I've tried to go to a movie and couldn't find one. And that was the case this time around. I couldn't find anything to go to see, and I'm baffled by the fact that Avatar doesn't have more showtimes at Movie Tavern, because I would think that that's a big moneymaker, right? That's your only blockbuster you have right now in the theater. So why wouldn't you milk that movie? I don't know, the 3D side of it and whatnot. So I thought the movie was doing good, and I wanted to go see it. But now if I want to go see it, you either got to go at 1:15 in the afternoon, or you got to go at 6 o'clock at night, and that's all you got. So that's not really fun. So that was my annoying moment of the week. The other part of it is dating, okay? Now, listen, I'm not saying, well, no, it is. Dating is annoying. Dating is really annoying. You want to know why dating's annoying? Because you can't just meet people fluidly anymore. It feels like, I told you how I am. I want to go into a store. I want to be looking at a book. I want a girl to come up to me and say, hey, I have that book. Did you like it? Or what do you think? Or you should get it. You know what I mean? And have that real, genuine conversation that just kind of happens. That's something I would love to do. That doesn't happen anymore, right? It's like if you go to a public place and you don't know that girl and she doesn't know you, she's doing hers, you're doing yours, that's it. So, for me, it's not easy, right? It's not easy to do that. So I was talking to Caitlin Longway and Bilal Ali when we were doing the Dolphin Dive takeover at Cafe Kubal this week, which you can go back and watch on youtube.com/Wake Up Call DT. By the way, this Witty Wicks candle, this is my Mother Fudger candle. I think I'm going out today to buy another one because this thing smells fantastic. First thing my dad said when he came in my house this week was, why does it smell like chocolate in here? And I said, exactly. I wanted my whole house to smell like chocolate, and this thing is beautiful. So Thank you once again to Witty Wicks for all that you do. So, in the dating world, right, I was telling Caitlin and Bilal, I said, love what you're doing right now. You're in college, right? You're in a room, you're in a residence hall. You open the door. Everybody your age is right there, right? 18 to 21, everybody's right there, right? You can hang out with each other, you can date, but it's like you open the door and all these people your age are there with you. They're there with you in class, they're there with you, throughout the day, cafeteria, walking through campus, going to different events and whatnot that are at campus. When you have the intermingling of like student athletes and sports and whatnot, you can meet a bunch of people. So it's all there, right? And that's the coolest thing. Like when I went to college, it was just like you walk outside and here's all these women your age that you can date, and you have icebreakers because maybe you have class together. You obviously go to the same school. There's different things you can connect with. You can ask them questions like, oh, I'm trying to find, I'm not from Scranton because that's where I went to school. I went to school at Marywood University. So I'm not from Scranton. Have you been out to any restaurants? Is there a place that you would pick? There's a lot of icebreakers, but it's an easy way to talk to people. When you are a grown person and you're out in society, it ain't like that anymore. You can't go to Wegmans and be like, "Hey, what's up? How you doing?" Because people are weird now. So dating is not like it used to be, and it's not fun. So, what did Greg say to me? Your show, DT, to be riding shotgun with me on the trip to the lake this morning. Bro, I appreciate it as always, man. Thank you. I'm happy to ride shotgun. What lake are we going to? We having fun? We fishing? What are we doing? Going out on the water? It's going to be cold, dude. What's the temperature right now? Let me see. Maybe it's going to be, maybe I saw wrong. Was it going to be 50 today? Let's see. No, it's going to be 40 today. That's what it looks like. It's only going to go down today. It's starting at 40 and going down. Oh, no, it says today 53. Why is it saying? It says 53, but then it changed. That's not going to happen today. It says 40. But it could snow today. So, well, you're going out to the lake, man. Have some fun. I appreciate it. Definitely appreciate riding shotgun. Thanks for letting me do that. Always love that you're listening to the show. I'm happy you get service, man. I got to know, like, what plan you have. Because you get, Greg will listen to the show. He's a devout listener and viewer, and I appreciate that. And, Greg's had us out on the water, and I don't know how how we were doing it out there on the water. I was like keeping the signal, but it was. So respect for that and respect for your service. But, so dating today, it's so different. It's so different, and I went on a date with somebody that I met through a dating app. Because listen, I'm back on one of the dating apps I was on, and I'm on that dating app because I paid for it. And I was sitting here and I was like, man, I got a month to go with this thing. I already paid for it. I should just use it, right? I should just use it. They already took my money. They took my money 3 months ago. I should just use the dang thing, be done with it. So I went on a date from it, right? And the woman that I went on a date with, she said to me, she was like, what do you, she's like, oh, do you just do dates through here, or do you meet people fluidly? And I was like, I don't meet people fluidly no more. It's like, it's not an easy thing to do. And it's just weird now. I feel like everybody's got, it's like a woman has to want to date. From my point of view, I don't know. It's like a woman has to want to date. She's got to be in that mindset, in that mode. So if she's on the app, she's in that mode, right? She wants to date. But if she's out in public, it's like, don't touch me, don't look at me, nothing. And I felt that for the last few years where people are just like stiff. You know what I mean? It's like you walk up to a woman, it's like, honey, I'm not trying to attack you. I'm not trying to bother you. I'm trying to talk to you. I'm trying to say hello. I'm trying to just have a conversation with you. That's it. And people get like, why is this a stranger talking to me? It's like, dude, just live your life, okay? Back in the day, there were no cell phones. There were no computers. People had to talk to each other to get information, to figure out, like, do I take this road? Where do I go from here? Where's the nearest gas station? People had to ask each other questions, strike up conversations in a diner, and get to know each other, right? That's how things used to happen. And I like human interaction that happens fluidly in the moment, and I miss that. And, I still have that, but when it comes to dating, it's like nobody's trying to bother you. By the way, here's another annoying moment of the week. It has to do with dating. I have my best dates in my dreams. I have dreamt about at least 3 women that I've never met before. We go on dates. We have a good time. Last night on my date, I was dating a Hispanic woman, beautiful girl, and I think she was Hispanic and African. And we're dating, or we went on this date, and I felt like she was never like really respected before based on the conversation we had. My dream was very deep. Like there was multi layers to it. I met her. I danced with her. Somebody I knew her. We talked about going on a date. She kind of seemed like she didn't maybe respect herself because maybe somebody else didn't respect, or she respected herself, but maybe other people didn't respect her. So we go out on this date. She's driving. We're talking to each other. We're trying to find the restaurant, and she ends up driving through a restaurant. The door opens. It was a small restaurant. She drives through the middle of it. There's people on both sides. You could see their faces. We didn't hit anybody, and we drove through it. And I thought to myself, this relationship's probably going to work out because this is the story that, like, how could you not have this relationship work out? This is the story that you tell your kids and you tell all your friends. Like, remember that time we went on a first date and you drove through the restaurant? So I had this awesome date. I wake up and I'm like, I've never met that girl before in my life. She was beautiful. She was awesome, a little bit younger than me. And we had a great time. She looked great in the dress that she was wearing. Couldn't wait to go on the date. I wake up. I have no idea who this person is. And I've had multiple dreams like that. And that's annoying because my dreams have better dates than reality does. In my reality, I went on a date recently where a woman told me, she's like, oh, I'm kind of like that. And we were talking about how, how in the past I try to be a fixer, right? I'd get in relationships and women would do crazy things and scare me and kind of go from one personality to another, and I would stay in the relationship, go through all this pain, let myself be abused because I was trying to fix them and help them get better to my detriment. And so she said to me, she was like, oh, I'm kind of like that. I'm like, oh, you're a fixer like me, like I used to be? And she goes, no, I was like your ex. And I was like, what? And she goes, yeah. She's like, most people would have described me as crazy. I did everything that you said your ex did. And I was like, what? So, I didn't think that my ex was capable of the crazy things that I saw. And here I am on a first date with somebody going, I was crazy just like her. I did all the stuff she did. And I'm like, if y'all lived my last relationship with me, y'all would go to scary movies and you would just brush them off like they're nothing. You'd be going to those scary movies like you were going to watch Sesame Street. None of that stuff scares me anymore after what I saw. And then you got somebody on a first date going, oh, I'm just like your ex. And I was like, all right, well, if I've learned anything about life, it's this, folks. When somebody tells you who they are, believe them. If somebody tells you they're crazy, if somebody tells, whatever it may be, I've had women tell me some crazy thing. Believe them because they're telling you the truth. For whatever reason, they're having word diarrhea and the truth is coming out. Let that be true. My final annoying moment of the week also has to do with dating and dating apps. My theory is women have a lot easier time on the dating apps than men do, right? We might get a like, then, a couple days go by, maybe we get another one. It might take us forever to get 7. Well, she showed me the dating app that we met on. She showed me hers because she wanted to show me a picture of somebody. She shows me a picture, and I see her likes, 99 plus, because it can only go up to 99. So that could be 100, that could be 1,000. And I said, that's the difference between men and women. Women go on a dating app, within 5 minutes, they got 72 people saying you want to go on a date. Men go on a dating app, and we sit there in silence, waiting. All right, maybe today. All right, I'm going to talk to this girl. She's too far away. And we go through that. And I said, the reason why is because women will go on the dating app and they'll go, oh, he's cute. Oh, I like his dog. What did he write? Oh, that's interesting. Oh, he's got a strong faith. I like that. Men will go, Men will go, I'm lonely, 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 I'm lonely. And then so, but I mean, it did match my theory. This woman had over 99 likes, right? All these people, and men, we get some, but not like that. It's like 10-1 women getting those. So my annoying moment of the week's today. Dating in today's world, is that's a running annoying moment of the week, but I like to add chapters to it. So I'm going to say that, but I will say that I've never had a woman flat out tell me, and you know what? And that was kind of like, I love movies. That was a twist in a movie I wasn't ready for. We had a great conversation. We're talking. We had a great conversation back and forth, getting to know each other. And then it was like, hey, I'm just like that. Oh, you're like me? No, I'm like your ex. People would tell you I'm crazy. I did a lot of the things she did. And I was like, that was a spin in the movie I wasn't expecting. I'm thinking conversation. The way the conversation was going when she said I'm like that, it was right after I said something about something I did. So I said, oh, you're like me? No, I'm the villain in the story. I wasn't trying to be the hero. And I'm like, okay, well, that's terrifying. And I'm going to have to excuse myself from the situation. So, but again, when somebody tells you who they are, believe them. Know that that is truth. People will slip and trip and tell you who they are. You need to believe it. That's coming from a 37-year-old man that heard what people said and went, they'll change. They'll get better. Nah, dude. So, some people do. Some people do. Some people do. Some people don't. And I am too old to hear somebody go, I am crazy. And me going, yeah, I'm not going to wait for this to fix itself. I'm not, I hope you get better. Maybe you are better. But you telling me that you're just like my ex, y'all know from listening to the show, if somebody tells me I'm just like your ex, then you're an ex before the ex even happens. My mom did this. This is what she did. She did the slow motion run. I said, Ma, you don't have to worry about it. I was leaving before I even heard that. But when I heard that, nail in the coffin, see you later, goodbye, the 3 with 5 minutes left to put the team up by 30, done. Coffin out. So it's crazy, man. It's nuts. But it does make for some funny comedy. Per always. And, this is the thing, too. Women, when they know that I do comedy, now they say this to me. They're like, I don't want to end up in your comedy show. And my response to that is, what are you planning on doing? The only women that end up in my comedy show are terrible relationships that I turned into something comedic. It was something depressing, sad, and tough to go through that I turned and spun into a positive to try and help other people going through tough times to laugh through their pain and realize that things can get better, and to show them they're not the only one that goes through it. That's what my comedy's for. There's always a bigger message that I'm there for you. You're not alone. It's going to get better. You can leave. You can get through this. And I got women saying, I don't want to be in your comedy show. And I said, well, you're the only person that can decide that. You are the only one that can choose that. I can't choose that for you. If you're a good person, we have a good relationship, we're having fun, I respect you, you respect me, you're never going to be in the comedy act. But if you're crazy and you tell me on our first date, I'm crazy. Okay, well, thank you for letting me know. I bought dinner. I still bought dinner, but I'm like, all right, no. No. I'm not doing that. I can't do that. I cannot do that. You have to listen to when people tell you who they are. That is my annoying moment of the week. It's got to be. Got to be my annoying moment of the week. Not having enough movies at Movie Tavern, which typically doesn't happen in Movie Tavern. Where's my Avatar in 3D? Man. So it was that Isaac and I were trying to go see Avatar. Now we're going to go see it a different day. So that hit, and I was like, man, that stinks. And then, the dating stuff. But, I'm back out there in the dating world. I've gone on a date. I think I'm going to be going on some other ones. And like my mom always tells me, at worst, honey, it'll be more material for you. We'll take a step aside on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Kubal Studios. We'll be back right after this. This has been Carvel. DeWitt's Annoying Moment of the Week. Proudly presented exclusively on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Head out to Carvel DeWitt today. Don't let the cold weather fool you. Those flavors are extremely incredible. Nobody can be Carvel. You could try to imitate them, but no one has that flavor of the ice cream cake. To me, the ice cream cake. My entire life has been Carvel. Love Carvel. Love the shakes. Love the dashers. Love my sundae. Love the cakes. Love everything at Carvel. The Flying Saucers. Head out there today. 4322 East Genesee Street in DeWitt, New York. We all deserve a little treat for ourselves. And you can get a little Valentine's Day cake for your family, for your kids, for your honey. Go do something nice at Carvel DeWitt for Valentine's Day. 4322 East Genesee Street, DeWitt, New York. We'll be back right after this to bring you Lead. Proudly presented by Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay.
Carvel DeWitt, it's what happy tastes like. Do you know why? Because we make ice cream. Creamy, rich, flavorful ice cream. Not yogurt or iced milk like some of our competitors. Ice cream. Fresh, by hand, daily. For the calorie conscious, we have something new for you. Our new Carvelite. Same great flavor, creaminess, and texture of our regular ice cream with only 35 calories an ounce. So whether you want an ice cream cake, flying saucer, dasher, carvalanche, hard or soft ice cream, we will satisfy your craving with our fresh, handmade regular or new Carvelite ice cream. Carvel DeWitt. It's what happy tastes like.
Cafe Cabal offers same-day local delivery of our products, offering no delivery charge for Onondaga County. Shop cafecabal.com for fresh roasted coffee beans, cold brew, travel mugs, and all your essential Cafe Cabal needs. Cafe Cabal, coffee for the soul.
The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is located on 3680 Milton Avenue in the Home Depot Plaza. It is your family-friendly sports bar and restaurant. Folks, some sports bars aren't family-friendly. Some family-friendly restaurants are not sports bars. The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is proud to be both. It is that marriage that you've been looking for years. The Wildcat Sports Pub is your home base for your sports bar and restaurant needs, games for the kids, indoor and outdoor activities, and enough things on the menu to come back every single week and get to try something new. They're open Sundays from noon to 8 p.m., Monday through Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Thursday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to midnight. For reservations and party information, call 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat family-friendly sports pub and restaurant.
Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Inside of the Cafe Kubal studios, hanging out with you where sports beats life. Cafe Kubal, 3501 James Street, 324 West Water Street, 401 South Salina Street, all in Syracuse, New York. 401 South Salina Street. I want to give them a shout out. I was there yesterday, grabbed myself some tea. It was fantastic. So I just want to send you all my appreciation and my thanks again. Awesome staff, and just want to say thank you, because I appreciate those moments. A cup of coffee, cup of tea goes a long way. So big old thanks to the OG. Well, I actually 401 South Salina Street I was before. I want to give a shout out, yesterday, 3501 James Street. Big time shout out to the OG. So I go to so many of them and we rotate around. So, but a big thanks to the OG, the original Cafe Kubal, 3501 James Street. Of course, 401 South Salina, like I said, and 324 West Water Street, all in Syracuse, 343 Fayette Street in Manlius, and on the corner of Route 11 and Taft Road at Sweetheart Corners. Big shout out to you as well, the drive-through location in North Syracuse. So, with that being said, inside of MonPazPopcorn.com's What's Poppin'? Next topic of the day, we're going into our segment Lead, Learn, Evolve, Ad-Lib, and Deliver. And always happy to bring you this wonderful, wonderful segment that I get to do with the fantastic people led by Jimmer Sikowski at Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay. I am honored and privileged to bring you Lead, Learn, evolve, ad-lib, and deliver every single Friday right around 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Today's topic: celebrate your faith. Celebrate your faith. In today's world, it may feel like and seem like it's not an easy thing to do. Celebrating your faith, right? People may feel quieted. They may feel unappreciated, disrespected, misunderstood. Faith in today's world is pushed down at times. And that to me is sad. It's very sad. I've always been a person of strong faith. And it's something that is every fiber of my being. It's who I am. It's why I am who I am. And it's such a part of me. It's every bit of me. And as I've gotten older, I feel like there's been this quieting of faith. It makes me sad. I feel bad for the people that feel like they're being quieted, they're being hushed. On this show, I always tell people, everybody's welcome. You want to know why I say it? Because I mean it. Everybody is welcome on this show. Everybody's welcome to come out to the shows that I do. I ask for two things. Be respectful and justify your opinion. Sometimes we disagree, and that's fine. But where is a world where you know, what type of world are we living in where we disagree with each other and we disrespect each other? We need everybody to agree with us or they're wrong. Right? We don't know how to be respectful anymore. We just yell and scream and call people names. And when we don't agree with someone, we just attack them until we make them cry or run out of the room. If you're of Muslim faith, welcome to Wake Up Call. Buddhist, Hindu, Catholic, any type of Christian, Jewish, and so on and so forth, welcome to Wake Up Call. If you're agnostic or atheist, welcome to Wake Up Call. Do you want to know why? Because the God I believe in welcomed everybody. He knew there were people in the community that might be dining with him that night that didn't believe. And he said, come sit with me. And there were strong believers. And he said, come sit with me. And there were believers in public but not in private. And he said, come sit with me. There were believers in word but not in deed, or deed but not in word. And he said, come sit with me. So if I want to live my best life, then I need to mirror the God that I believe in. And the God that I believe in said, whoever you are, bring me all types of people and come sit with me. So that's how I am. Come sit with me. Sit with me if you're Muslim. Teach me about your faith. I don't know that faith. Let me learn. Let me teach you about mine. Let you learn. Let's walk away. I stay Christian, right? I stay Christian, I stay Catholic, you stay Muslim. But now you learn something about me, I learned something about you. We didn't change our religion, but we can respect each other. We can learn from each other. We found similarities and parallels. We both believe in God. You call him Allah. I call him Yahweh. But we both believe in him. We both know that he is real. We both know that he is the fabric of everything that in this world and everything that we do. Celebrate your faith, folks. Celebrate it. Celebrate who you are, what you are. I'm here to tell you this morning to do it. Why? Because it is you. And when you don't celebrate God, when you don't celebrate your faith, when you don't celebrate who you are and where you came from, you start to become less and less as yourself. I pray before every single meal. I thank God when I wake up every single day. I thank him for Lily. I say, God, thank you for waking me up. Thank you for waking Lily up. Please wake up all of my loved ones and their loved ones. May we have a wonderful, beautiful day that is long and fun and goes by slowly. May everybody wake up everywhere with all of their loved ones. And those that have passed on or that will pass on today, Lord, take them to heaven, bring them home, reunite them with their loved ones that are already in heaven. May all of their loved ones that have passed on be there with you. May that reunion be beautiful. And may all of their loved ones here on earth help them to get through this, their loved one passing away. Help them to be okay. Help them to be at peace. Help them to always be connected to their loved one, even in death. Amen. Every morning, it's important to me. I get mad at myself when I check my phone before I say, hey, God, how are you? Thank you. I should never do anything before I say, hey, God, how are you? Good morning. Thanks for waking me up. So I'm sorry, God, in the times I haven't done that. I don't know what life is without God, and I don't want to. I had somebody tell me before who didn't believe in God. She said to me, she goes, I know why you have a faith. You have a faith like everybody else. It's because it's your crutch. Because you can't go through life and life is too hard and you need something to lean on to make you feel better. And I said, oh, man, that is not true at all. I don't have faith in God so I can lean on God like a crutch. I have faith in God because I know where I came from, and I'm not going to take credit for everything that I've done when I know that I didn't do it all. I worked my butt off, but God opened doors that I didn't even see in the room. My grandmother made it through cancer 3 times in her 90s. She lived to be 100 plus. What I have seen in my grandfather's passed away over 30 years ago. I think about them every single day. I have proof that there is a God, and I carry that within me. This is not, and it's like the older I get, the more I feel like people, like when you say you believe in God, they're like, oh, you believe in fairy tales and fables? And it's like, no. Little Miss Muffet and Mother Goose or Mother Hen or whatever the heck it is, those are your whatevers, right? Your little stories for kids. I believe in God because that's what I do. And I feel like people need to stop defending what they believe in. Because nobody has a right to come into your life and tell you, well, I don't believe in God, so I'm going to sit here for an hour and disprove it. And if that doesn't work, I'm just going to belittle you and bash you and call you stupid and treat you like a child and tell you it's a crutch or that you have to lean on it. And no. You know what I find that people really believe in God? They're really nice people. The people that really believe, not the people that say they believe, go to church, and then walk out of church, start gossiping. I'm not talking about those people. People that really believe in God and live the word every day. Right? Not perfect. Nobody is. But people that believe in God, those people, you can feel their energy. You can feel their warmth. You can feel their kindness. You can feel their goodness. They don't even have to tell you. I have friends that are like brothers to me. They almost never talk to me about God, but I know that God is in their life because of how they treat me. I know God is there. And their morals, their values, the way that, no matter how many years go by, they just remain a good person. And people say, well, Dan, could someone not believe in God and be a good person? Yeah, I'm sure somebody could not believe in God and be a good person. But at the same time, I find with a lot of people that don't believe in God, don't have a faith in something, that they lose themselves somewhere. The people that I've interacted with, they're not happy, they're depressed, they're argumentative, they're upset, they're on edge, they're tense, they're anxious, they're stressed, they're mean. Typically. I'm not saying there's not a white whale out there, but most people that have a strong faith and live that faith and believe that faith and practice that faith, when you're around them, you feel that love. And then people that have no faith and are just hollow, you get a sense for that hollow. You know, go back to dating for a second in my life, right? When I date people that have a faith in God or open to having a faith in God, there's like a check and balance, right? There's a, I shouldn't do this. I shouldn't treat you that way. I should respect you. I should give to you. I should forget, things like that. When I date people who don't believe in God, those have been, or people that say they do but don't practice it, the people that don't display God's love are the scariest people to date, because they will cheat, they will lie, they will do things that just like diabolical, demonic, like who even comes up with that, and they won't feel any remorse to it. They'll just do it narcissistically and continue to do it. I don't believe you can truly love God and be a narcissist. I don't believe that. I believe you can know God exists and like God and practice your faith sometimes and be a narcissist, but I don't think that you can really know God, love God, practice that, think about it every single day in everything you say and do, and be a narcissist. Because if you're a narcissist, you're not only putting yourself before man, you're putting yourself before everything. And you can't even see anything else. A narcissist can't believe there's a God because you think you're on the top of the mountain and no one's on the top of the mountain but you. You're not up there with God, you're up there by yourself, right? And what I've realized in life is I'm just tired of defending my faith. I'm tired of telling people why I believe. I'm tired of telling people why I believe God exists, why I believe in God in general, why I have a faith, why it drives me, why it's important to me. And you go back to dating now. I mean, you go on these dating apps, and if I see Catholic Christian, I'm like, oh, thank God. Because most of the time you see spiritual but not religious. And I have no idea what that means. I believe in something, I just don't have a religion. And sometimes that's okay, right? Sometimes hey, I have a strong faith in God. I was raised in this one religion. I don't really associate with religion. I just believe in God. I pray every day. I do good things. Okay, that makes sense. But then there's other people where they're they say spiritual but not religious, and you don't know what that means. There's people that believe in crystals. I had a girl tell me that. She goes, I believe in the power of crystals. You hold them in your hand. They're all around you. And I was like, this sounds like some Lord of the Rings stuff. I'm not about that life. Your faith, and people say, well, Dan, what if you turn people off, right? When you talk about faith in your show, what if somebody shut you off right now because you were talking about this? You weren't talking about sports. You were talking about faith. Well, Wake Up Call's tagline is where sports meets life. I named the show Wake Up Call not just because it's a morning show, but because it is a warning show. It's a morning show. Also, it is a show about waking up. The wake up call. Wake up call. That meaning is not just, hey, it's a morning show. It's, hey, I'm trying to be that little shock, that boost, that, I got to wake up. I got to see it. I got to know it, right? We all need that. We all need those moments in our lives when something happens where we get that wake up call. I shouldn't be going down this path, or I should be going down this path. I'm trying to be a friend to you. I'm trying to say something, do something today that hopefully can spark something inside of you to do the thing you were supposed to be doing or to stop doing the thing you're not supposed to be doing. This show has messages every day. And if somebody shuts me off because I'm talking about God, then somebody shuts me off because I'm talking about God. But I had to take today, we do so many topics with Lead. And this topic is near and dear to me, and it just came to me easily because I'm just tired of being this strong person of faith, loving God with everything that I have. Everything that I have, every part of me. And just having to deal with the constant, just feeling that energy from people. I shouldn't even say constant, because I'm surrounded by a lot of people that have a faith. So it's not like I get, there's a lot of people like bothering me about it constantly. So I don't want to say that because I don't want to wish that energy upon me. I appreciate that I don't have that. Most people around me were good. But I mean, when I'm in society, sometimes I feel like I'm by myself. That I'm by myself. I do a sign of cross. I feel like I'm by myself. And I just want people to know this morning, it is okay to believe in God. And to me, it's not only okay, I would say you should. I don't believe in God because I need God to get me through life. I believe in God because God gave me life. God put me here. He gave me a chance. I didn't create myself. I wasn't some floating consciousness in the cosmos that turned myself into a being and threw my soul in there. No. How far we have fallen as a human race when we think that we can make life, create our own life, clone something, make it ourselves and say, oh, well, if we make it, there's a soul in it. How can you put it? You're not God. You can't put a soul in anything. If you cloned a person, that person, maybe God puts a soul in there, but you did it. You're not putting souls in robots. We have evolved as a society to the point where we think we are God. We make life. We choose. We choose everything. Whatever God made us, we can choose anything. I could go out today and say I'm a walrus. And in today's America, you got to believe I am. That's insane. That makes no sense at all. I am Dan Tortora. That is who I am. I am a man created by God. I am who I was in the beginning and who I am right now. I am God's creation, made in his image and likeness. That is who I am. And I am tired of people being afraid to say that. Why can't I say, I don't agree with your stance. I don't understand it. I believe in God. You don't. You live your life this way. That's fine. But to me, I believe in God. I don't believe God makes mistakes. God is not human. People need to stop with this. God came in human form as Jesus Christ, but God is God, all-knowing, all-powerful. There is, in my opinion, one God. And that's it. We think we are. We think God's human. God's not human. God was divine and human in Jesus. But God put himself within that. God, to me, we need to stop acting like, oh, God thinks like humans think. No, and thank goodness he doesn't. Or she doesn't, or however, whatever. God doesn't have a gender, by the way, as well. So, it says he in the Bible, but I think that's just a way of not saying God over and over and over. You're right? So, to me, listen, I'm here this morning to tell you to celebrate your faith. I have had conversations with people of different faiths. I've had conversations with people of no faith. And I'm always willing to sit and have a conversation, grab a cup of tea, and get to know you and get to know your why. And I want that respect for me too. And I want other people to be able to do that. But I feel like the older I get, the less people believe in God, the more people believe in just random ridiculousness. I worship crystals. I worship, and by the way, this was in the Bible, right? Worshipping a golden calf, like worshiping, sex, and, that's in the Bible. It's in the book of Revelation. So putting things in place of God, those being sins, and then it being the fall of man. That's all in there. But, I just felt like today I just wanted to tell somebody out there. I hope someone out there, even if it's one person, somebody out there hears me say, hey, love God. Practice your faith. Be a good person. Don't let anybody take that away from you. Because I think it's the people that don't have God and don't, you know, I don't fully believe that somebody that truly loves and knows God and has a strong faith could ever commit suicide. I don't believe that, you know, because if you knew God and you knew God's love, you would know that God, no matter how bad it is, that destroying yourself would pain him and pain everybody. I had a friend who committed suicide, and I feel terrible for the way that he must have felt inside, but he left us all, I shouldn't say but, period. He left us all with his pain. He left all of his friends with that. That's what people don't understand. Suicide, where it's like, all right, I'm going to leave. I'm going to leave. I can't do this anymore. You leave everybody that loves you with a hole. Because we're wondering, what could we have said? What could we have done? Why were you so sad? Why didn't anything we did do or did say, why didn't it work? Why couldn't you hold on a little bit longer? Why didn't you come stay at my house when it was really, really bad and just spend some time with me? Let me make you some breakfast. Let's laugh. Let's have a good time. Let's get your mind off of it. Let's go on a retreat. Let's go to therapy. Let's do something to make sure you're okay. Why did you give up? Society's going to do what society's going to do, but you don't have to do what society does. I think people need to know that today. Society is out of its mind. Society changes its mind every day. Every day. Whatever is, like, literal news media will cover whatever is popular that moment. And I'm a firm believer that what they're pushing and trying to force everybody to believe in today, 2 years from now, nobody will care about. I believe that because that's how the media works in a lot of cases. Not here because I don't believe in that stuff, but a lot of media works with fads. Let's pretend to like this group of people now. We didn't like them before. We made fun of them before. If you go back and check the tape, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, we were making fun of this group of people. Now we love this group of people. 2 years from now, we don't even care about this group of people, and we're not even going to say anything about them. And we're going to deny that we even supported them, and we're going to deny, and we might go back to making fun of them again. That's how society and media, that's how media pushes society to work. You have to have your own mind. You have to have your own brain. You have to be able to stand on your own 2 feet. And I can honestly tell you that having God in my life has made me everything that I am. And if I took God out of my life, I would not be Dan Tortora. I would be unrecognizable to my parents, to my friends, to my family, to the businesses that I work with, to my dog, to my neighbors. I wouldn't, to you, to the listeners, to the readers, to the viewers, to the supporters, I would be a shell of myself. I wouldn't do interviews the same. I would be totally different. Who I am comes from God. Now you say, well, Dan, you didn't choose who you are. It's not free will. No. I choose to be who I am every day. I make decisions and what I'm going to say and do every single day. What I mean is, God gave me my life. God gave me my talents. God gave me my skills. And I teach myself things and I do things. I work with God. I'm not saying I'm sitting here doing absolutely nothing and God, I just have what God gave me and that's it. I've taken, what do they say? God gives you the gift of life. The gift you give back to God is what you do with it. God gives you these beautiful traits and abilities, and it's what you do with those as a gift back to Him, right? God gave me the gift to speak to anybody, anywhere, at any time, make you laugh, make you think, I truly believe that through speech, I can change the world, and I think that I have. And I'm not saying that ego-wise. I'm saying that, like, I know that people have come up to me and told me last night about the way I do things and what it does for them and the positivity it brings. I truly believe that God gave me the gift to speak to anyone about anything with love, attention to detail, compassion, kindness, empathy, and an open mind. And comedy. And in doing that, here I am. But I had to be willing to do this. God put it in me. I always had it. But I could have been too scared to come out and never have done this. I could have let my ex-bosses turn me into something. I could have let other people in the media turn me into something. but I've remained who I am. And I dated a girl who said, Dan, that's all you. Give yourself credit. You did it. You built your career. You decided who you wanted to be. You did all this stuff. Don't give any credit to God. This was your choice. You're successful. You should be the one that's saying, thank me. And I said, no, because I didn't give myself life. And people say, well, your parents did. How'd my parents get pregnant? Well, because they went through the normal human act of having a baby. Well, how does that happen? How does that happen? Right? If you really break down every single intricate part of life, there's like 1,000,000 chance this is going to happen. 1,000 chance, a zillion one chance. There are so many things that people consider coincidences, and at some point in your life, if these cool, awesome, incredible things keep happening and these domino effects keep happening, and there's no explanation for just how it all worked out, to me, that explanation is always God. It's always God. And I find it harder today than a few years ago. I'd get on my show, I'd talk about God, and I'd feel that. And people would thank me for it. And now I talk about God, and I feel like people are going, I believe too, but I just don't tell people. And that's the problem with society. The people that believe in nothing are screaming. And the people that believe are being quiet. And what I found in life is that normally you'll meet people that believe in God and something horrible happened in their life, and that's why they stopped. Well, if God exists, then why is my grandfather dead? If God exists, why did my mom die of cancer when I was 9 years old? If God exists, why did my wife cheat on me? If God exists, why did this monsoon happen? If God exists, why did Hurricane Katrina happen? If God exists, why was there World War II or World War I? If God exists, how come I got my brother got trapped in his car and couldn't get out and he froze to death? Wouldn't God have opened the door? That's what people always say. And I don't have answers for that. I don't have answers to why my grandfather died when I was 6 years old. I don't have answers to why certain people in my family treated me horrendously and as a kid, and it created this like guilt complex inside of me that I have had to literally spend decades breaking apart and throwing in the trash completely. And it's still a test. So, I can't explain things about why did my wife cheat on me? Right? Why did she waste my time? Why did she hide who she truly was so well for so long? Why didn't I listen to the sign? I can sit here and question God too. But I look at my life and say, I'm an only child. Yet, I come on this show and tell you that I have brothers. Nico, Miguel, Ross, Isaac, Jason, Rob. I have brothers. I have family. And when I meet someone, I go on the date for the first time, I tell them, I got brothers. I have nieces, I have nephews. And it's funny because the date I just went on, I said, yeah, I have my brothers. She said to me, well, I have 5 brothers, actually. And I wanted to get up and leave after that. I'm like, okay, that was like a little dig. Like, well, I have actual biological brothers and you just have... Okay, so how about this? When families adopt and they're under one roof, are they not brothers? They're not blood. Are they not brothers? Are those not their parents? So that's the same thing to me. We're not blood, but are we not brothers? Would we not kill for each other? Will we not get each other out of jail? Will we not rush to be there? I had a friend tell me, and And there's some that I haven't named. I have a friend, Joe. He said to me, he goes, Danny, I know we don't always talk, but he said, there is no doubt in my mind that if you ever needed me, I would be there for you without question. Without question. That to me is a brother. There's people that have blood brothers and sisters that wouldn't be there for them without question. They'd be like, do I have to go? You know? I know people that have siblings that they're like, you know, they don't help me with anything. They don't do anything. So, if I've learned anything about life, as much as I can question God for this, I can thank God more for everything else. Instead of questioning God why I don't have siblings, you know what I say to God? I do have siblings. How many people have siblings, have 13 nieces and nephews? I don't have biological siblings, and I have all of these nieces and nephews all over the country. I've been Uncle Dan to them forever. And I don't even want to tell the story to these people anymore. Oh, you know, I have nieces and nephews, but technically they're not my nieces and nephews, but they call me Uncle Dan. Because I see people, you know, I see the judgment on people's faces, and they go, oh, like that. Oh, so like that. Like, not like a real, but like, you have the life that you believe in, the life that you lead. My closest friends are not my friends. They're my brothers, my sisters. That's who they are. My nieces and nephews are my nieces and nephews. Well, I'm your uncle, but I'm not really your uncle. But your dad calls me Uncle Dan, and you call me Uncle Dan, but I'm not a blood uncle, but blah, 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 BS. Celebrate your faith. Celebrate who you are. Be happy in your own skin. And don't let this world change you from who you know you are and who you want to be. If I had somebody who was Muslim come up to me crying, saying, Dan, everybody thinks this, this, and this of me. They disrespect me. They treat me like... I would cry. I'm not Muslim. I would cry. Why? Because you should cry. You should feel the pain of somebody who wants to be themselves and tries to be themselves, and people tell them don't. That should bother you when a Jewish person has somebody say, do you really believe the Holocaust happened? I think it was a hoax. When that person hurts, you should hurt with them. Just like your Muslim friends and your Jewish friends, when somebody goes, Jesus doesn't exist, take that cross off. You believe in a fairy tale. That should upset your friends that don't believe in Jesus, because they're your friends. They love you. They got your back. They don't want to see you in pain. And if they love you for who you are, then they love you for who you are. If you have people in your life that love you conditionally, they don't love you. If you have people that say, hey, Dan, I know you're a strong person of faith, but don't talk about it around me. I know you're a strong person of faith, but I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to discuss it. Don't bring it up. If you keep doing shows about faith, I'm not going to listen to your show anymore. I'm your friend. I love you, but I don't think it's good radio. I don't think it's good. You said you're a sportscaster. Be a sportscaster. Talk about Jim Boeheim. Don't talk about God. That'd probably be the last conversation I ever had with that person. I am tired of this world devolving, regressing. We are not getting better as a society. We're getting worse because people that believe in God are getting quiet, getting scared. We don't want to tell people. We don't want to offend people. Well, I own a store, Dan. I can't tell people I believe in God because then the atheists won't buy any t-shirts. That's what this world's come to. You would rather sell a t-shirt than believe in God. And I'm not saying that you have to go out with a megaphone, because God doesn't say that. I'm not saying when I'm a strong person of faith that I'm out there ringing a bell telling everybody they're going to hell unless they follow me. I never do that, and I can't stand people that do that. What I am saying is, be who you are. Love yourself. And with all due respect to anything that anybody believes, if you think we created ourselves, you're crazier than when you say someone believes in God. Because how could we create ourselves? How could we evolve ourselves? how could we somehow, some way, all look different, have different languages, but there are things that connect us all together. If I meet somebody from China today, they kiss and they hug. I kiss and I hug. If I meet somebody from Russia today, then the middle finger is still the middle finger, right? A tear is still a tear. They still procreate the same way. Now, in certain cultures, maybe a thumbs up is something and it's not in another culture, but a lot of the things are the same. We show our pain through tears, regardless of skin color, nationality, background, language, sexual orientation, sex, religion, any of that. We cry, people know we're hurting. We smile, people know we're happy. We hug and kiss, people know we care about that person. That person's special. To me, it's crazier to believe that all things in the world happen coincidentally than there was a divine designer. I believe in God, and I am here today to tell you all to celebrate your faith, to be happy with who you are, and to understand if you walk with God, if you walk with Jesus, if you walk with the Holy Spirit, if you walk with Allah and so on and so forth, and Buddha, if you walk with God, whatever you call God to be, if you walk with God, I promise you, the fruitfulness that you will bear in your life, the satisfaction, the beauty, the feeling, the chills, your heart, your mind, things change for the better. If you put your faith in the world, you will always be let down. If you put your faith in God, you will know how to lead a world that's lost. Putting your faith in the world will eventually make you lost. Putting your faith in God will teach you how to treat a lost world. People are flawed. God is not. And God is also not the Wizard of Oz. And I really think people should stop treating that as such. It's not a fable. It's not a joke. It's real. And when you search your heart of hearts and you really get honest with yourself and you pray, you will realize that there's more people in pain that don't believe than people are just like, nah, I don't believe. Typically, it comes from somewhere, something, some tragedy that people use and say, well, if God was here, this wouldn't happen. If God was here, this wouldn't happen. One of my closest friends' father was murdered, and he believes in God, and he believes in the afterlife, and he believes in angels and demons. I have a friend who went through being adopted and not knowing who their birth parents were and trying to find them for years and having it been hidden and going through all this pain and going through cancer. And if you met this person, she wouldn't even have to talk about God. The way she treated you would make you believe there is one. God is not an actor in a movie. God is not on a TV show. And God is not on Barney and Friends. God is in your heart. God is in your soul. And if you spend some time to look for him, her, however you want to describe God, you would find that in finding God, you'll find your real voice. You'll find yourself. And you'll find the peace that you're begging this world to give you, that it will never give you. With that being said, we'll take a step aside. I know we ran over a little bit here and we got some things to get to. We have Top Dog of the Week coming up and Two Mics, No Filter, but I could talk about this all day because it pains me to see a world that's trying to put a muzzle or a mask over the mouths of people that aren't saying anything other than they believe in God and they love God. And I'm here to tell you today that there's nothing wrong with it. And you should never hide who you are. Because if you lose your identity, you lose yourself. And if you lose yourself, you are susceptible to believing whatever anybody will tell you. You want to know what my compass is in life? When I don't know where to go, when I don't know, is this moral, is it not, is it right, is it wrong, should I do this? When I'm in the gray area, you know where what my compass is? It's God. I wouldn't be here today without that compass. So I do my best on this show and with anything I do to be a compass for other people in hopes that you won't be, oh my God, Dan, you're preachy. But you'll listen and you'll see that I'm literally just crying out for people to stop letting society change, because society is fads. Society is what's popular today. If you go with society, you will have to be a chameleon for the rest of your life. You'll have to change your clothes all the time, your attitude all the time, the way you talk all the time, you will have to change everything about you all the time. You will never look like the same person for the rest of your life. You will have to change everything about you. Your mannerisms, the way you speak, the way you talk, what you wear, everything. So if you want to spend the rest of your life constantly changing to fit a fad, be my guest. But if you want to know who you are, and as the world changes around you, you stay constant. It's one of the greatest things any of my friends ever said to me. Lisa, I want to shout you out for this. The day that my wife cheated on me and the day that my marriage officially ended was the day that my friend Lisa, and we had no idea that my wife was out there cheating. Lisa looked at me that day, and this to me is God too. I got this message, which would have been powerful and beautiful no matter what. I got this message on the day that my wife was cheating on me. God got a message through one of my friends. And Lisa looked at me and she said, you know what? You're amazing. And I looked at her. She goes, you don't know how special you are. She said, you've done something that so few people have done, and it's very hard to do. She said, if somebody met you when you were a little kid, or if they met you as a teenager, in high school, in college, or if they met you right now, you are the same person that you were back then. She said, do you understand how hard that is? She said, someone who knew you when you were 3 years old and somebody who knows you now would describe you as the same person. And that's a really tough thing to do. You've always been Daniel. So it's not impossible, folks. It can be done. But without a compass, you'll always be wandering the world. We'll take a step aside for a fast break. I want to thank Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay. There are incredible, incredible people whose stories we get to tell at these wonderful locations. They're team members at Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay. You can check out all those stories. They're called The Light Between Us. They're on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. And you can also be with us here every Friday for Lead, Learn, Evolve, Ad-Lib, and Deliver. And you can go to Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay. So much more than a chicken sandwich. Any day of the week, except for Sundays, because they're closed on Sunday for the Lord's Day. And we look forward to seeing you out there. Thank you to Jimmer Sikowski for believing in me and becoming one of my best friends. Jimmer's one of those guys on that short list as well. I love you, brother. We'll take a step aside for a fast break. We'll come back with the top dog of the week and 2 Mics No Filter right after this.
In these unique times, there are those in our community that give us a sense of normalcy and positivity. Pizza Man on 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville has been here for you for over 35 years and is here now. Call 315-638-1234 or order online at pizzamanbville.com to bring those familiar tastes into your home. And remember to come see our monthly on-site broadcasts centered around the community and our Baldwinsville beats. Pizza Man in Baldwinsville. Any way you slice it, they are always here for you.
This is Jimmer Sikowski, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero, 7916 Brewerton Road in Cicero, right in front of the Home Depot. I had a deep feeling that God wanted me to do something bigger with my life and to help people, help others. I kept putting Chick-fil-A in my life, and I realized as I was going through the franchise selection process that positively impacting the lives of others was really core to what we do here at Chick-fil-A. First of all, it starts with the food. The food is brought in fresh daily. We bring in local produce. We prepare to order in the kitchen. We hand bread our chicken. We hand spin our milkshakes. It's great food. It doesn't taste like fast food. I think the second thing is the way people feel when they come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. It's different. We try to treat people with intentional kindness here, which is very different and deeper than good customer service. And so I think it feels remarkable for most people to come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. And then lastly, the impact that we try to have in the community is very different. It's a big part of the expectation of every operator of a Chick-fil-A restaurant is that they're actively engaged in their community, they're a leader in the community, and they're making a difference. When they realize that what we're striving to do is to shine a little light in their life, that's a very, very different experience than you will have at any other quick service restaurant. And it's that remarkable experience that I think people will emotionally connect with.
I'm George Townsend of Honda City with some good advice when buying a new car. The true cost of owning a new car is determined by the appraised value when you trade it. No vehicle appraises higher than a Honda. Next, look for low APRs and deep discounts. You also want low maintenance costs and great fuel economy. That's why my advice to you is to buy a new Honda. Looking pre-owned, visit our Honda Certified Used Car Center. Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard, Liverpool, or HondaCity-CNY.com.
It would be a pity if you don't shop at Honda City.
Our corporate purpose at Chick-fil-A is to glorify God by being faithful stewards of all that's entrusted to us and to positively influence all those who come in contact with Chick-fil-A. And what became increasingly clear from our success in Cicero is that people love Chick-fil-A. And also I think we recognized that, we had a great opportunity to grow the brand and grow our platform. I felt incredibly grateful when I was selected to be a Chick-fil-A operator. I think what it's meant for me, what I've come to realize on a very deep level is that this is a calling for me. It's not a career. It's not a job. The Lord called me to be a Chick-fil-A operator and to use these restaurants to glorify Him and to positively influence other people. I'm blessed. I'm very blessed.
Head to Chick-fil-A Clay on 3974 State Route 31 in Liverpool, New York. Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, inside of the Cafe Kubal studios, hanging out with you where sports truly meets that thing called life. We appreciate you being here every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. And it is now time for us to announce the top dog of the week. Inside of the Cafe Kubal studios, 3501 James Street, 324 West Water Street, 401 South Salina Street, all in Syracuse, as well as on 343 Fayette Street in Manlius, New York, and on the corner of Route 11 and Taft Road at Sweetheart Corners in North Syracuse in their drive-thru. Inside of Ma and Pa's Popcorn.com is what's popping. By the way, I was there with my mom yesterday, and we had a great time getting some Valentine's Day stuff here, some awesome treats at Ma and Pa's. Head out there today to get something for mom and dad, your sweetheart, as well as your kids and, friends, family, something for yourself as well. Ma and Pa's has a fantastic way to sweeten up your Valentine's Day. So make sure you head out there today, 201 Old 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. Inside of Ma and Pa's Popcorn.com is what's popping. It's now time for the top dog of the week. And you know that I need Lily's help for this. Top dog of the week for this week, proudly presented by Canine Kamp Dog Daycare and Canine Kampground Dog Boarding. I have the opportunity
to every single week name someone or an organization or multiple people as my top dogs. Well, my top dogs of the week for this week are my NFL award winners. The MVP of the NFL goes to Pat Mahomes. So I'm going to give that a yes from me. Now, I think Jalen Hurts had a case. I really do. I think Jalen Hurts had a case to be the most valuable player, but I'm definitely happy for Pat Mahomes. I probably would have voted for Jalen Hurts this year, and I think he's on the best team in football. And at the same time, I think the only reason why I say this, I think Pat Mahomes could win it like any year, and I think Jalen Hurts, this was a year. Coach of the year, Brian Daboll, the New York Giants. I appreciate this. I respect it. I think it should have been Doug Peterson, not because I am a Jaguars fan, but because the Jaguars were the worst team in the NFL for 2 straight years, 32nd of 32, number 1 pick back-to-back years, and they went from being the worst team in the NFL 2 years in a row to being a team that won their division, won a playoff game, and even made the playoffs and finished with a winning record. So I would have said Doug Peterson. So this is me celebrating the top dogs in the NFL, and at the same time shouting some other people out. Don't want to So understand something. If I say I disagree and I would have voted for this, it's not me saying you're not a top dog, you're not important, you're not good. It's me saying I am happy and proud, and these guys were on my list as well. At the same time, I want to shout out some other people. So that's really what I'm saying in the grand scheme of things here. So Pat Mahomes, MVP, Brian Daboll, Coach of the Year, Comeback Player of the Year. I would have picked Geno Smith. He won it. Offensive Player of the Year, Justin Jefferson. Not surprised here. Fantastic player. Not surprised at all. Defensive Player of the Year, Nick Bosa, the 49ers. Good stuff. So I'm good with that. Offensive Rookie of the Year, Garrett Wilson. I think there's a lot of people that you could put on this list. And Garrett Wilson is a guy that I told you was going to be the number 1 Jets wide receiver. I believed he was going to step in at number 1. I think anybody else had been the number 1 or was going to be the number 1 except for him this year, and he definitely took it. So I like that. Defensive Rookie of the Year. How about this? The Jets won 2 awards this year, Offensive and Defensive Rookie of the Year. And what did I tell you? The best Jets players are their rookies and their second-year players. I said the best players they have on their team are the young players, and their rookie class, I think, was the best class in the entire country. And that's what I said at the draft, and now at the end of the season, they get Offensive and Defensive Rookie of the Year. And I've gotten to interview Sauce Gardner, which I appreciate very much so. Big shout out to Sauce in Cincinnati. Assistant Coach of the Year, D'Amico Ryans. I like that call. Obviously, he's the head coach now. After being an assistant for the Niners, he was the D coordinator under Kyle Shanahan. He's now the head coach of the Texans. And then the Man of the Year award, Dak Prescott. Respect it. The Art Rooney Sportsmanship Award. Love this guy. Super nice guy. Got to talk with him in interviews. Got to talk with him outside of that. Calais Campbell. Much love to Calais, former Jaguar, now a Raven. The Deacon Jones Award also went to Nick Bosa. The Jim Brown Award, which is a new award, went to Josh Jacobs, who's in a year where the Raiders didn't pick up his contract and, give him that extension. So he just wins the Jim Brown Award, and I hope somebody actually values Josh Jacobs and goes picks him up. And the NFL Fan of the Year, Seattle Seahawks, Larry Bevins won that. So shout out to you. And then we have some other awards here. The Next Gen Stats Best Moment of the Year, Power, that went to Justin Jefferson. FedEx Air and Ground Players of the Year, Air, Joe Burrow, Ground, Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs won another award. Salute to Service Award, presented by the USAA, and so love that there. That's a different, presented by the USAA, that's the award. So salute to Service, Ron Rivera, Washington Commanders, I like that. The Head and Shoulders Never Not Working Protection Play of the Year, George Kittle of the Niners, that's the one I was reading. And then the Bud Light Celebration of the Year, Celly of the Year, Cincinnati Bengals Roller Coaster Celebration. So shout out to all of the top dogs of the NFL. You're my top dogs of the week. I wanted to honor you and show you some love here on the show, just like they showed you some love with those awards. I appreciate it. And I wanted to give a shout out to Jalen Hurts and Doug Peterson because I don't want them to be forgotten. I take nothing away from Pat Mahomes and Brian Daboll. give some love here to Jalen Hurts and Doug Peterson. They did a tremendous job, and I think they need to be commended for it. So I want to show them some love without taking any away. So I count these all as my top dogs of the week, and I add a couple more is how I look at it. We'll take a step aside here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. When we come back, 2 mics, no filter with my co-host Andrea Smith. We utilize the Tom Brady Gisele situation, which her and I are not privy to, right? And I never witch hunt. I'm not here to try and figure somebody out when I don't have the information. I don't think that's right. We asked the fans to send in and tell us what you'd like us to talk about. And one of the fans said the Tom Brady divorce. And so we utilized that as the gateway of having the bigger conversation about relationships. And when you're with someone who doesn't want you to succeed in your career or wants you to choose between them and your career. And we believe you can have both. So we talk about that after this in a very, very must-see, must-hear, 2 mics, no filter conversation coming up with my girl Andrea right after this. Very happy to have her as a co-host and appreciate her so very much. She'll be coming up after this fast break with me in 2 mics, no filter.
Avicoli's, located on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, has been your trusted neighbor for decades. Located just steps from Liverpool High School, we're happy to have the Liverpool Warriors on-site, on-location broadcast at Avicoli's through Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora every single month, featuring student athletes, coaches, and administration throughout the year from Liverpool High School. Head out to Avicoli's today on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, open Tuesday through Sunday for lunch, dinner, and drinks. We'd love to see you out there. And of course, you can call them at 315-622-5100 for takeout, delivery, and catering. That's 315-622-5100. And also find them on myavicolis.com. That's myavicollis.com. Having peace of mind when you're out of town that your furry-loving friend is safe and sound means taking them to Canine Kampground, because we all know that when it comes to the love of our pets, it goes well beyond the call of duty to make sure they're safe and sound. Right, Lily? So take a ride to 242 Johnson Street in East Syracuse, New York, and see Canine Kampground and where your dog will be staying in the classic cabin, the executive cabin, the grand cabin, or of course the luxury cabin, because if you know Lily, you know she loves luxury. Now you don't have to wait to the last minute to find a family member or a friend that'll take your dog for a few days. Call Canine Kampground at 315-299-4013. That's 315-299-4013. Their drop-off and pickup times are Monday through Sunday. Check K9Kampground.com for more information. That's the letter K, the number 9, and Kampground spelled with a K.com. K9Kampground.com.
When you're going out of town, bring your dog to Canine Kampground.
PB&J's Lunchbox, the food truck that you love finding all throughout Central and Upstate New York, now has a street-side cafe. So when you're craving their traditional favorites as well as their out-of-box amazing menu items, you can now head to 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. Located just minutes from the highway, the Thruway, Destiny USA, and Onondaga Lake Parkway, PB&J's Lunchbox Street-Side Cafe is there for you Monday through Saturday from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m., serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner all throughout the day. Get breakfast for dinner, dinner for lunch, whatever you fancy, including their award-winning grilled peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Find them at 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. PB&J's Lunchbox, where we love to know what's in your lunchbox. This is a special message from 317 at Montgomery restaurant owner Joel Carpenter. Open Tuesday through Saturday for your dining pleasure on 317 Montgomery Street in Syracuse, New York.
We wanted to be a part of the resurgence of Syracuse. We saw a lot of money being put into bringing people back downtown and thought that, we'd like to be a part of that. I love putting together a good dish where people see it first, they fall in love with it, and then it tastes just as good as it looks. We want to provide the best food in Syracuse that we possibly can, and we want you to leave here talking to your family, your friends about what you had to eat first and foremost, but also our service, and to walk out feeling like you're part of our family. I work out in the front of the house a lot, and I love walking to every single table, asking them how everything is, and people looking at me and smiling and saying, this is the most amazing short rib I've ever had. This is the most amazing filet I've ever had. And Donna is great. Sarah's amazing. Thank you for coming over and talking to us. And then them just being truly happy for the experience that they've gotten.
317 at Montgomery Restaurant, part of the fabric of downtown Syracuse, located on 317 Montgomery Street in Syracuse, New York. Open Tuesday through Saturday for a unique and memorable dining experience. What's up, everybody, and welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Kubal Studios. This should be your new favorite segment. I don't care where you're listening, what you're doing, what you're watching. This is your new guilty pleasure. 2 mics, no filter, with Andrea Smith and myself, Dan Tortora, a.k.a. DT. Miss Andrea, how are you?
I am good, Dan. How are you?
I'm doing very well. So
Good.
We had some wonderful people around the world write in some topics, and we're going to save one for Valentine's week, so be ready for that. But this week, we took a topic that was sent over to us about Tom Brady's retirement and everything kind of going on. And what we're essentially going to utilize this for is a gateway for us to talk about having it all, relationships, and finding a way to live your dreams and at the same time have your romance. And the whole Tom Brady thing was kind of put on display because of who he is and who Gisele is. So I'd love to get your initial thoughts on it, and we'll let it unravel as it may, because we both have stories to tell.
Right. So I think we texted him about this. I think that you're going to be surprised at where I stand on this, because I think that it's probably common for a woman to take the woman's side in this type of thing. But I am on Tom's side. I think that he, listen, if you played sports growing up and you had this vision of wanting to be, whatever, even if you didn't play sports, if you had whatever your dream was when you were a young kid, and then you lived out your dream, like, it was so emotional seeing his retirement speech, right? Even if it was the second time. Because you could see the pain, and like, he knows it's time to hang it up. He knows he didn't have the season that he wanted to have, and it's really time he needs to kind of move on with his life, right? You could see that this is a tough decision to walk away from something that it's your identity, it's who you are. And listen, on the marriage side of things, like, obviously the divorce is done. Quick, final, whatever. And by the way, today on page 6, they shared on Instagram a thirst trap from Tom Brady sitting in some kind of paradise. So he looks like he's doing okay. I just want to throw that out there. But, the thing is this. She supposedly, there's stories that she says that she put her career on hold all this time for his career, blah, 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 right? Well, yes, in a normal situation for normal people, right? Maybe a woman puts her career on hold while the husband chases his career, right? In a normal setting. But they're bazillionaires.
Yeah.
Have the ability to have help, right? So she could have traveled the world doing her modeling and all the things that she wanted to continue to do, acting, modeling, whatever, and taking the kids with her with 5 live-in nannies with her.
Yeah.
Like that could have been an option for them. So it's like, I don't feel a whole lot of sympathy for that because you didn't have to put your life on hold, right? Now you have the means to support it.
Yeah, I mean, I think, well, you bring up a good point is, if you, some people like, okay, in dating, and I don't understand this because this is 2023, but I've met a couple women, one very clear that she's like, I want to be a stay-at-home mom. And I was like, okay, well, how many kids do you want to have? She's like, at least 6. And I was like, what do you plan on me doing? And how much money do I have to make? She wanted to live on Long Island. So I said, I got to make $500,000 just to clear the house. And on top of that, she's like, well, you need to sacrifice. I don't know if you're willing to sacrifice for your children and you're going to have to get jobs you don't like. I said, madam, I have worked jobs I don't like and worked my tail off so that I could have a career where my dreams pay my bills and then some. I'm not going backwards because you want to have the Partridge Family and stay at home with them all the time. Listen, her argument was for the first 6 years of their life, they're impressionable. And I think people are impressionable all the time, which said they're impressionable and I want to be able to raise them. I don't want some daycare to raise them. Listen, I get that. I understand that. I can respect that. At the same time, I'm not going to kill myself because she was making no sacrifice. I want to live across the street from my family. I want to live on Long Island, which is one of the most expensive places in the entire country. And then she'd play the man card, right? Well, other men have done it. And I was like, this is not a whether or not I'm a man. This is whether or not Gisele. Listen, people will know Gisele forever. She's gorgeous. She's been a model. She's done a billion different things. And I respect that. I appreciate that. Your point that you brought up as a woman is that she's got money. He's got money. She might have more money than he has. And at the end of the day, if you have that type of money, you can have your kids watch. And let's be real about Hollywood. There's a lot of women not watching their kids. And a lot of men not watching their kids because when you have that money, they, pay for the nanny and whatever. So I don't think they're going without. So the whole well, I had to stay at home and take care of these kids. You didn't have to stay at home. Now, if she wanted to be a stay-at-home mom, that's her choice. And I commend it, but that's her choice. And for them to not be together over that, and listen, we don't know. I only use Tom's situation as because somebody sent it over to us and I'm using it as an open door. I don't witch hunt anybody. I don't go after anybody. I don't know what their life is and I'm not going to pretend I know what their life is. We're using this as an example because in their unique situation, they have the money to hire a chef, a nanny, a butler, 15 robots to wipe your butt when you go to the bathroom. I mean, they don't need they're not begging for help. So, I like that you bring up that point because it's true. If she was sitting there going, well, I got to sit home with all these kids. It's like, well, you don't.
You don't. Really, to be honest with you, the only people that are in that situation are A, if you choose to be in that situation, or B, financially, someone has to stay home with the kids because you can't afford childcare or whatnot while the other one works. I mean, otherwise it's pretty much a choice.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, my children go to daycare. I went to daycare my whole life. My parents were both working parents. I went to daycare my whole life. And not for nothing, but I think that my opinion is it helped with socialization. And I have to tell you, from my stance, I'm a better parent because I'm not with my kids all day. I appreciate anybody who can do that because it is the hardest job in the world. And if you have the patience for that lifestyle, I appreciate it. And that's great for you. But for me, it's not for me. Chasing my dreams, chasing my career, that's for me. You know what I mean? And if I'm not happy internally, I'm definitely not going to be a good parent. I don't want to be the person, on social media doing the mom memes all day about how miserable they are. I am that person in a sense because I make jokes about it, but I don't want to be the mom who's at home all day complaining about how she doesn't get paid for her job of staying at home. And she, husband's gone. The moment husband gets home, she hands the kids over. That's not who I want to be. I've got my own dreams. And so in the sense of Tom Brady and Gisele, if they have their own dreams, and they're financially secure, as we all know they are, they both could have chased their dreams. Now, here's another thing. We don't know what's going on behind closed doors, right? And what appears like he wins the Super Bowl, and there's this family photo, last year of like them all looking happy together, and like he's finally going to retire, and she's just so happy. Great. We don't know what the ongoing relationship, what problems were, and maybe how much football played a role in that. I'm sure there was some jealousy of where, she felt football was more important than her or the kids or something like that. I'm sure there's a lot more involved than what we know, but just from the outside looking in, that can't be the only reason. You know what I mean? Yeah. And here he's deciding to retire. The marriage is done. Is he hoping that it works out? Maybe he's hoping that they could turn things around. I don't know, but I can tell you by the thirst trap photo he's posting and by the fact that he's Tom Brady, I highly doubt he's going to have any problems making things work out for himself in general. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And listen, I mean, so I can come to this situation as somebody who's lived it differently. I didn't have the money that Tom and Gisele have, but I went through a marriage and went through a divorce, and our last grandiose conversation was on a Friday. I'll never forget it. And I'll never forget it because I'll never forget the things that my ex-wife said. She sat me down as if I was a child, and she was my parent, which was hilarious because I felt like I was raising her most of the time. And she sat across from me. I was sitting on the couch. She pulled up a chair. She said, "All right, you want to talk? Let's talk." And she proceeded to tell me, "You're done doing certain things." She said, "You had a good run in Jacksonville. You have a good time covering the team, right? You got a bunch of years in. I don't think you need to go there anymore. I think you've had enough, and I think that's enough." And I was like, whose name is on the door? Because I saw Dan Tortora Broadcast Media, and I know that man had 27 cents in his pocket and $103 in his bank account. And I know that he was living at his grandmother's, taking care of her while he built his company with God and God alone. So I don't know what our conversation is. And she's like, "Yeah, you're not going to Jacksonville anymore. I don't think you need to. You don't need to be away from everything. If we're going to have kids, we either have kids or you go to Jacksonville." And I said, "That's not fair." Then she proceeded to tell me, this was beforehand, she said, "You know what? You're the type of dad," and this proved to me she knew nothing about me. She said, "You're the type of father that's going to forget to pick your kids up and leave them in the rain at school." And I said, everyone that knows me from when I was 0 to 37, which obviously we broke up years ago, but anyone who's known me for 3 decades knows that I am the opposite of that father. I'm the father that wants to be there at 2:59 for 3 o'clock because I want to know how their day went. I want to hang out with my kids. I'm the type of guy that would turn down the Super Bowl to be with my kids at their Little League, whatever. So I would probably try to do both. And
so would I. I was going to say, I don't know that I would turn it down. Yeah. I would just
I'd probably try to do both.
Yeah.
So my thing is, and I said that to her. So she said that, and then she said, "You know what? I like what your friend does with money. I like that, he basically talks to his wife, and every time he makes money, he puts it in a bank account, and then he asks her permission to spend his money." And I said, "All right, you brought the Jacksonville thing to the table, which you're out of your mind. And number 2, now you're telling me you're gonna tell me where I could spend my money, where you make $1,400 and the $1,400 is gone the next day, and nobody can tell me where it went. So I'm not asking your permission to spend my money because it's my money, and I pay my bills because I'm not dumb enough to spend more money than my bills cost." So. Yeah, so it was funny coming
from. Did you have joint bank accounts? Did you and your wife have joint bank accounts?
No, and I know what you're going to say. Well, and the thing is, so I never got a joint bank account with her because I didn't trust her with money. So my whole thing was, I'm going to go to buy a plane ticket, and she's going to have bought 19 pairs of shoes, and I'm not going to have any money. So she was like that. Money would disappear. And anytime I would ask her about it, she'd get super defensive. She'd call me my father because my dad would ask my mom about money, and she'd make it a big old thing. And I'm like, no, I just want to know where your money went in the last 8 days. So long story short, you can't go where you want to go. You can't have the career you want to have, and you're going to ask me to spend your money because I'm going to decide where you get to spend it because I think you're foolish, which was wildly hypocritical for a woman who had no career, had no drive, committed to nothing, and never had money. and her mom was rich, and her grandfather was rich, and they would just send her free money. Her grandfather would be like, "Hey, it's a Tuesday. Here's $500. Hey, it's Christmas. Here's $1,000." Her mom would send her $200 and say, "I hope you're doing okay. I love you." And so, I mean, my parents do a lot of great things for me. My mom will tell you that since I was 14 years old to 37, I probably asked her for $20 twice in the last 23 years. So, I didn't know her life, but I was like, how are you not holding on to money when you're working and your grandfather and your mom are just sending you free cash?
Right.
But I go back to the Tom Brady Gisele thing because we didn't have money like that, but I don't know what they lived. But my conversation with my ex was, you're not living your dreams to the point where you want to. And I told her, I said, I'm just getting started. I said, I haven't even barely scratched the surface. And every time I would get to the proverbial glass ceiling and break it, she would say, you better get back under that ceiling. You better get back under there. And she told me, she goes, I don't really want to see you. What did she say to me? She said, I don't want you to be successful.
What? That makes no sense.
She's like, she's like, that doesn't mean I don't want you to be like good at your job in your career, but she's like, I don't really want you to be any more successful than you are. And so,
okay, which in hindsight, plays devil's advocate here.
Yeah.
If I had to step away from the situation, she's probably trying to say, like, I like you the way you are. You don't need to go be better, bigger, whatever. Like, I like you the way you are. That's probably what she's trying to relay, but it's coming across obviously different. But who doesn't want their partner to be successful?
Well, that's the thing is, like, I've heard that from other people, is they'll say to me, well, okay, you're doing all this stuff now, right? You travel now, you got a bunch of shows, you get to do all these things. Like, when are you done? And
well, you're never done in your line of work. This is what you do.
And my thing is, if I was done when we broke up years ago, there's no Two Mics, No Filter. There's no Superpowered Pop. There's no Do Diz with Dan. There's no Comic Book Trails. There's no going to New York Comic Con and doing my show. There's no continuation at Jacksonville. There's no covering, the American Athletic and so on and so forth in the ACC. So to me, it was like every time I left the house, it was a how dare you. And I would sit with her and she's like, well, what about my career? And I was like, well, you don't have one. And I constantly tried to help her create one. I said, what do you like to do? What are your interests? If you don't know the exact job, let's write down what you like and what you don't like. And then let's tailor it towards something. And she would say, don't act like my mom. Leave me alone. I just want to drink wine. And
how old was she when you guys were having this conversation?
Early 20s.
I mean, and y'all were married in your early 20s? She's kind of young still at that point. So I can understand the immaturity, I guess.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Like, I knew what I wanted to do when I was a junior in high school, and I know that's weird. But to some people, that's weird. To me, I just knew what I wanted to do. But if you're going to get married and you're going to talk about having a family and you're going to have a house, she wanted all of the stuff with none of the work. She wanted the end result with no journey. There was no road. She just wanted the helicopter to pick her up and leave her at the end of the road. But she wanted me to pave the road for her. And I thought as a partnership, you pave it together. And she was kind of like, she wanted my money, but she didn't want me to work for it. She just wanted the money to show up. And one of the last things she said to me was, why don't I quit my job, which she bounced to a different job every couple of years. She said, why don't I quit my job so I can be a stay-at-home mom, drink wine, and pet the dog, and you can get a sponsor with your company that pays you enough money per month that you can give me as my allowance, and you don't get any of that money. So you do all the work, you get the sponsor, and then you give me all that money, and then if you lose that sponsor, you have to go get me another one. So you do 100% of the work, and I'll pet the dog and drink wine. That was her compromise at the end of our relationship, and that was a very easy ending for me.
Yeah. I mean, I think anytime, on such like relationship or your passions and your dreams, whatever, I think that there are a lot of people out there that sacrifice, right? They sacrifice for their kids. They sacrifice. They don't take job promotions because they can't move. You know, my father had a promotion and it was right around the time I just made high school cheerleading. And my mom was like, we can't do it. We can't do it. We can't do it. You know, it was such a big deal to me. So I get it. There are people and times that you have to make decisions and sacrifices or whatnot. But I think you and I kind of are on the same page with this. Like it, you know, teaching, for example, I don't get paid a lot to teach. I would do it for free. I love to teach fitness classes. It's what I love to do. In fact, when people ask me, which they do quite frequently, well, what do you like to do? What's fun for you? And I'm like, I honestly struggle to find out anything that's fun, except for I like to teach. But even then, it's a job. You know what I mean? So even if I'm having an off day, I have to do it. However, I will tell you this. I don't care if we had to move for a job or whatever. I will always teach. As long as my health allows me to teach, I will always teach. So if I was with a partner that told me, hey, you can't teach because I can't be taking the kids to school every day or whatever, we can't compromise that. Like if you take them to school, what's the big deal? If I pick them up, like, what's the big deal? Like, let's do a trade-off. You know what I mean? If I had a partner that was not okay with me teaching classes because it interfered with our lives as parents, it wouldn't work. You know, I'm lucky that in my situation, Josh, he works out just as much as I do. So for him, it's like, that's something neither of us are willing to sacrifice. But I'll tell you right now, if either one of us was on the spectrum of you work out too much, I don't want you to work out so much, 100%, we are both so psycho about this, done.
Yeah.
That would be divorce. If either of one of us were like that. But you know what? I'm not going to not chase, outside of teaching even, I'm not going to not chase my career and not chase the things that I want to do for my relationship either. So if Josh wasn't easygoing and he was against me doing new things or even doing things like this, you know what I mean? Doing new things, packing my schedule more, it's not going to work for me. But I'm willing to tell him that too.
Well, yeah, and that was the thing is that, you know, listen, did she make sacrifices? Yeah. I mean, now her family lived an hour away. And
what kind of sacrifices? You didn't have kids. What kind of sacrifice was she making?
Well, she moved an hour. So she was living in Binghamton. I was up in Syracuse. She moved away from her mom, who she hated and couldn't stand being in the same house as her. But she said it was a sacrifice of being away from her family, even though her family just stressed her out. But so that was a sacrifice. But it was an hour and we could go there anytime we wanted. And we went there one year. We went there like every other weekend, an hour up, hour down, and that was fine until her mom started verbally abusing me. We went down there all the time. And I told her, I said, we're not seeing your mom because we're lazy or because I'm selfish. We're not seeing your mom because she's toxic and I don't want to deal with it. So if you want to go see your mom and you want to deal with like all that haze, that's fine. But I'm not in that world. So by the way, just slid in there a little song by Taylor Swift. But
she won Best Music Video of the Year last night at the Grammys.
Yeah, well, I'm very yeah, we're very happy for her. She's fantastic. So, you know, she is. Listen,
we're big fans.
I put it to you like this. If I dated Taylor Swift and we made a truce that she wouldn't make a song about me and I wouldn't do comedy about her, I'd give it a shot. But I don't trust that she wouldn't make I mean, listen, I think she's pretty. I think she's talented. I think she's wonderful. I like her drive. And I feel like she'd probably understand me more than other people that I dated. At the same time, what'd you say?
She's deep.
Yeah. You know? So, you know, I feel that for real. But yeah, I mean, to get back to it, you know, being in the situation that I was in, I've always been a dream chaser. And anybody that knows me knows that I worked my butt off to make money doing what I love, loving what I do, and not having to do anything else. Because when I started, I was doing other stuff. I was working 2 jobs, 3 jobs. So I know what it's like to be like, man, I don't want to do this. Like I was at other jobs writing down stuff for my show, talking about my show, and somebody would come up to the window. Which,
by the way, is something about in your 20s. Like people are working hard so that they can make their career and make things happen. I mean, it's not uncommon what you're talking about doing.
Well, and that's the thing is that I thought
okay, she's so proud of me, right? She's so
Right.
happy for me. She's proud of me. And I want to be proud for her. She doesn't have a career, so I'll support what she does in the moment. And I always did. I'd come to see her at work. I'd bring her a coffee. She'd look like, why are you here? I'm busy. And I was like, okay, well, here's your coffee. You're welcome. Have a great life. But, you know, for me, I've told women this all the time. I don't mind being the eye candy. I want you to have a red carpet event, and I'll come there. I'm not going to stand there and hold your purse because I am not that type of dude, but I will hang out with you, and I want to go to an event where it's about you, where it's your showcase, your event, your promotion. I want to celebrate that because to me that's sexy. But I want you to show up to mine too. And her whole thing was every time I got a new spot, like a new client, every time I brought on a new business, it was like making her upset. So I bring in more money. Well, I'm floundering. I'd be like, oh, I just did a great interview. Well, I hate my job. And I was like, don't take out on me that I'm chasing my dreams and you're sitting on the couch. There's a difference between the two of us. And I tried like crazy to help her and get her there. But you can bring a horse to water. You can't make them drink. And at the end of the day, we bring up the topic that we had today because I think a lot of people think they have to choose between their dreams and being with somebody. And she, you know, her and other people have said to me, you know, like, obviously you're married to your job and your job. And I told her, I said, my job is my first wife. And my first wife, we have a great marriage. She has not let me down and she won't, because that's from God. That's hard work. That's God and me. So that's a good relationship. It was built on truth and trust. Now, in a relationship with a woman, if anybody that knows me knows I've always wanted that. More than anything in my life, I wanted to have a wonderful marriage and children. That's above everything, under God, above everything. 37 years old right now, I will not give up, even beforehand, in order to get a wife and children. I'm not going to murder the life that I've built in order to start a new life. If they can't coincide and work together, then I can tell you right now to the camera, I don't want a wife and kids if I have to lose everything that makes me who I am.
I 100% agree with that. I mean, going back to what I said earlier on in the beginning, is that you will be a better father, better husband if you are fulfilled in your own life. You know what I mean? You are who somebody's not supposed to complete you or not supposed to change you. Like should be a complete person the way you are and supported. You know what I mean? To Gisele and Tom's point, she knew what she was getting into when she married him, as he knew what he was getting into when he married her. Now, playing devil's advocate here, we don't know. Maybe he had a big thing about not letting people raise their kids nanny wise. You know what I mean? Like maybe he had this big thing that was like, no, we're not going to do that. You have to be the one with the kids. We don't know the ins and outs.
Maybe
but
he was
if you
jealous.
just want to play it that pretend that that's not a possibility, then you're right. He should not have to stop being who he is, stop chasing his own dreams, his own career value just to be a better spouse. I mean, I think there's a lot of people out there that have figured it out. I think there's a lot of people who are passionate and have married or dated seriously, like to the point of marriage, where they're both passionate and they're extremely happy that way. You know, I have a friend who first of all, very successful guy, but we didn't know why she was getting married in the first place. He was completely different than her. And I felt like she was a shell of herself when they were together, but neither here nor there, they got married. Well, of course, they get divorced. She meets somebody else who's artistic like her and passionate and all these things. And now they're like jet setters. And they've decided they're not going to have children because at this stage in their life, we're all in our early 40s. And they like to be able to pick up and go. And you know what? That's okay if that's their decision. But the bottom line is that they're so happy together because they both have their things. You know what I mean? Like, and like you said, he's there to support her. She runs these massive art shows now and does these big things globally. And he has his own business and he does these big things globally with his own jewelry and design and things like that. So it's like, it's out there. But people, I feel like, settle when you get that first sign of like somebody's not supporting you in what you want to do. I mean, it's probably a legit red flag, right? I mean, it's probably something you're going to overlook and years later still not feel supported.
Yeah, and I think like in my marriage when we were dating, she was supportive. And then we got married, and the crazy thing about it is when I got divorced, I had I obviously took my ring off, and I was talking to some people at one of the places that we do shows at, and they came out to a bunch of stuff. They had seen me for probably at least 6 months. And I said, yeah, I'm getting divorced. And the one woman, she goes, you're married? And I went, yeah, I wear my ring all the time. I don't hide it. And she goes, yeah, but we've never met her. She doesn't come to any of your things. And then I thought about it, and I was like, wow, if you just took like the one high school I worked with, she didn't meet any of those coaches, and I knew them for years, and she never saw them. And so, I mean, that lack of support really, I mean, when you come home, and the thing was, but every night that you got home, 99.9% of the time, won't say every night, 99.9% of the time that I got home, there was no woman waiting at the door, like ready to greet you with a kiss and a hug. There was no like, hey babe, how was your day? It was like, I'm going to bed at 10 o'clock. If you get home at 10:01, you can take care of yourself. And it was like, it was this feel bad, right? Feel bad that you're going to a game, feel bad that you had an event, feel bad that I ate alone, feel bad that I had nothing to do. And after a while, you just start to realize like, okay, I mean, I remember I landed in Jacksonville and I was excited. I called her up. She was always the first call I made. And I was like, hey babe, how you doing? Just landed, and she's like, I'm on the phone with my dad and I'm probably going to take a nap. I don't even want to be on the phone right now. And I was like, all right, cool. And I hung up, and I remember, I think I said it to my mom, or no, she felt it. I was driving around Jacksonville and I was like, I don't want to go home anymore. I want to go get my dog and I just want to leave. And, things that happened in our marriage made it really easy, decisions she made toward the end. But that feeling of like when someone's doing well and you make them feel bad about it to the point where like, I don't want to tell you what's going on in my life. Yeah. I don't even want to have fun in front of you because you're going to get mad that like it wasn't your fun. And she got bitter, she got angry, she got mean, and I always tried to help her. I'm not a perfect husband, I know that. I mean, I worked a lot, and sometimes I found it hard to balance because I was building my company at the time, like from the ground, but I always wanted her to feel safe, secure, appreciated. I just think there's a difference between I'm your partner and I'm your bank account, right? And that's what she wanted. And I didn't want to be that. So, but you brought it up, people settling. And I want people to know that you can chase your dreams and have that person. You say, well, Dan, how's that true? You don't have that person because I haven't met her yet.
You haven't met her yet. Yeah.
I haven't met that girl yet. And it's funny. My dad said this to me. He goes, I don't get it. And I said, what? He said this to me months ago. He said, I don't get why you don't think you deserve that red carpet girl. He's like, I don't understand why you think you can't get her because you can. And I said to my dad, I go, it's not that I don't think I can get her. It's, I don't know where she is, but I've always thought that like, I'm going to be out doing something and I want to bump into like that person who's out there doing an amazing job and killing it because anybody that knows me, I'm romantic. I want to dote on you. I want to be like, this is my wife. I'm so proud of her. She did this, and this. Like, she's a great mom. She's great at her career. We're going to her art show tonight. Like, that means the world to me. But if you don't have my back, then it's not that I don't wish the best for you, but I don't want to be in a relationship where I come home and I put my bag down and I'm so excited, but I got to call all my friends because you don't want to talk about it.
Right. Yeah, I know a lot of people that are not, I take that back. I don't know a lot of people, but I do know people in this kind of situation where one is resentful that the other works so much. And for me, it's like, I don't really understand that because I've always, like I said, I grew up with parents that worked and chased their career and did things like that and, worked their way up in positions. And I've always kind of been a chaser myself. Like I want to chase the next best thing or pack as much into the day as you possibly can. And it's funny when you were saying about how she didn't wait up for you. My husband never, like he would listen. This guy, you don't mess with his sleep, okay? They are asleep, and I'm like, can you just text me to let me know what the situation is? Has the dog's been fed so that when I get home, I know what to deal with, you know? But it's so I have to say, I didn't think that was that unnormal. But I do think there are a lot of couples that are dealing with situations where one person is extremely passionate and a big go-getter, and one person is more comfortable being, I don't want to, this sounds bad, but mediocre. And when I say mediocre, they're comfortable with, you know, working a normal job and being managed by someone else and those types of things. And there's roles for everybody. Yeah. So there's nothing wrong with those types of people at all. And that's great, you know? And on one hand, it's good that one person is extremely go-getter and the other person isn't, maybe, because then they kind of follow along that person, right? If that's the case. But I know people that are in situations like you were in, that it seems like all the person does is complain that the other is working all the time, when that person's trying to ultimately work to prove to themselves, you know, that they're successful and that they can provide and give a great life to their family. Now, you know, there are people, especially people with children, who say, well, oh, your kids, they don't need the material things, they need the time, they need the time. That's true too. They do need the time. But as long as when you're there, you're extremely present, it doesn't matter if it's every single day like that, or if it's 3 of the days of the week that you're just extremely present. Your kids are going to remember their experiences and what they feel from you more so than every single detail of every day. You know what I mean? So like, I am on board with people that want to chase their career and try to do it all and have it all, because you get one life to live. I mean, you know what I mean? Unless we're all cats with 9, like, you get one life to live. So you want to make the most of it. You don't want to get to the end of this road and be like, you know, I wish I had chased this dream, or if I'd only not done this, and, you know, if I'd only done this instead. It's like, I don't want to be that person. I want to finish my days. I want to be like a Tom Brady and say, you know what? I lived to the fullest. I won the awards. I did all the things.
Well, the thing is, and I'm going to be really, you know, as we always are, real. And I want people to hear me when I say this. Let's say you meet that person. Oh, she's perfect. He's perfect. Oh my God, I can't live without him. Okay. You meet that person. They're great. They're wonderful. They could do no wrong. And they say, babe, don't you love me enough to give all this up? You love me enough, right? You choose me over it, right? You put me above it, right? Okay, let me paint a picture for you folks. Let's say you give it all up. Let's say you buy it, you drink the Kool-Aid, you gave it all away. What are you going to do when that person cheats on you? What are you going to do when they leave? What are you going to do when you get divorced? Because they didn't kill you once. They killed you twice. And if somebody kills your spirit, your dreams, your aspirations, your drive, if you lose them, you lose everything. So I'm gonna be really, really honest with you. If you give it all up for somebody, you've given up yourself. But if you hold on to who you are, then no matter what happens with that person, you retain you. When my ex-wife left, I kept Dan. She didn't get him. I got him. And I love him. I love him more today than yesterday.
Well, people may not agree with this, but I will say this. You should never love anyone more than you love yourself.
Well, and the reason is at the end of the day, who's going to take care of you better than you? Right.
Well, and like you said, God forbid something happens, you know.
Yeah.
And you put everything all your eggs into that one basket. It's, you know, when you love yourself the most, you can control the situation. In some senses, you know what I mean?
Well,
you always have the things that still make you happy.
And people can't use it above you, right? It's not that I won't love my kids. And it's not, I mean, I've had women get mad at me because I told one woman, she goes, you're never going to love me more than Jesus. And I said, no, I'm not. Because God made you. So, and then I had one woman say, choose between me and God. I said, well, if I pick you, I pick God because God made you. And if I pick God, I pick God too. So the reality of it all to me is God is first. That's what I love the most. Underneath that is me because I love my friends. I love my family. Okay. And my dog Lily, that's my girl. I love her on the same level as I love myself. I might love her a little bit more than me. I love her like that. Like we are like this. But here's my thing. No matter who comes in and out of my life, I know how relationships are fleeting. I had the last girl I dated. She goes, I told you I love you. She's screaming at me, swearing at me. And I'm like, oh, this is love. She's like, I told you I effing love you. And I said, well, that's ironic. And the B side of that is I looked at her, I go, do you know how many women told me they love me? Where are they? You can say it. You can say it all you want, but you got to show it. You got to do it. And in 37 years of my life, God has shown it and said it. I am doing a better job of showing myself I love myself and saying it. And I take care of my own. I am not perfect, but I'll tell you this. If I'm so busy and I work so much, why do you and I talk all the time? Why do my friends and I talk all the time? Why do my parents and I see me every single week? Because I look at the girls that I date and the girl that I was married to, and I say, with all due respect, I'm chasing my dreams every single day, but my people, my squad, my circle, they hear from me. So what's your problem?
Right. Well, again, we can really leave this on a wonderful note. Then you can listen to Miley Cyrus all day with I can buy myself flowers. Okay, because you can. You don't need anybody else to do these things.
And the thing is, and it's a shout out to Witty Wicks. They actually made a candle the smell, the scent of the candle is bought myself flowers.
I think I saw this on your Instagram story. That's so funny. That's so funny. I love that they do like catchy things like that. That's so funny.
Yeah, like I wanted my house to smell like hot chocolate, so I got the candle Mother Fudger, and
that's cute.
Yeah, and I put it in the house. My dad walked into the house and he was like, as soon as he walked in, he goes, "Why does it smell like chocolate?" And I was like, "Ooh, it's working." So yeah, I gotta get a candle. We gotta bring something down to you. You've been very kind and generous. We gotta hook you up with some Witty Wick stuff.
Yeah, I have to check out their website and stuff and see what they got going over there. Because I love that they count. I love catchy stuff when somebody follows the trends. I love that.
They had Christmas themes that the scents were named after statements that were made in the movie Elf.
Oh my God, hilarious. By the way, one of the best Christmas movies of all time.
Yes. It's the reason why I never liked Will Ferrell before Elf, and now I like Will Ferrell.
I've always liked Will Ferrell since he did the cheerleader skit on SNL.
Yeah, see, on SNL, I couldn't.
Loved him.
I wasn't there with him. I was like sometimes, but then Elf, I was like, nah.
Funny. That movie is so funny. Step Brothers is so funny. He is so funny.
I love the part where he walks out and the car hits him in New York City and he rolls up on the windshield and falls down on the ground and he pops up and he goes, sorry.
Yeah. We watched that movie. Oh, between that and The Grinch and Cat in the Hat, we probably watched, which not him always, but those types of comedians. We've watched that movie, probably all three of those movies, probably 100 times each in the last year alone.
Well,
it's big options in my house.
Well, Jim Carrey being the Grinch, the movie that I can recite word for word, front to back, anytime is Jim Carrey's Liar Liar. So,
oh really?
One of the greatest movies ever made.
I'm not a huge Jim Carrey fan. It's funny you say that, but that is funny. A funny movie. You know what mine is? Movie. Do you remember the movie? You're not gonna remember. It's the girly movie from like the 80s. Troop Beverly Hills. Troop Beverly Hills. Shelley Long played in it, and it was like, if you have any female listeners, they're going to know this. It was about a Girl Scout troop, basically, and she was like this rich wife who decided to take over the Girl Scout troop, and she's like camping, like, what? You know what I mean? So anyway, it's a great movie. I want to tell you, shout out to the 80s, Shelley Long.
Yeah, shout out to the 80s for everything. I mean, for spoiling.
For hurting me.
For forming us, for just bringing us back. Reason why the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 vinyl is in my house, because it's all 80s music. So, and I turned it on. My mom had never seen the movie. I popped it on, and she was like bopping to the song. She knew the first one, the second one, the third one. And I looked at her, I go, see, Ma, you would like this movie. You got to open up your mind to, a talking raccoon and a tree, but you're going to like it.
Okay, speaking of movies really quick, let me just say this before we go today. So I have to tell you, last night, first of all, I had food poisoning this weekend. It's been a weird weekend. I had food poisoning, so we told the kids that I wasn't there, but I really was there in the back, in the bedroom with the door locked, whatever. So when they finally realized I was there, they finally come in the room, whatever. We're all laying down in the bed. And my son's like, let's watch Zombies. And we hadn't watched it in a while. And my daughter is on my phone. Whenever I don't respond back to text messages for a while, by the way, that's, that my kids are on my phone. But my daughter's on my phone watching videos, and all of a sudden they start playing some of the songs from the Zombies soundtrack in the movie. And my daughter puts that video down and everybody in the bed is dancing. I'm telling you, it's a good soundtrack.
I'm sure that I
just want to say, if you guys did not catch our top songs of 2022 and all those things, the Zombies soundtrack was one of mine. So just throw that out there.
And listen, I love the Disney Channel original movies. There's a lot of great stuff there, and formed a lot of crushes there too. And at the same time, I will say that in the same respect, everybody's making fun of Twilight when it came out. And then I was laughing when somebody made fun of it. And I go, wait a minute, I can't laugh about something I don't know. And then I watched the first two and I loved it. So I'm Team Jacob.
Not too much.
I'm Team Werewolf all day. Vampires are weird. And except for Blade, but Blade is a half-seed. Blade is a human vampire.
I have friends that were super into it, but I could never get into it. And I could never get into the one that was on HBO either. Bad Blood, maybe it was, or
True Blood.
True Blood.
Yeah.
I could never get into that either.
Yeah, I'm not like a vampire. That's not my thing. But werewolves, they're big dogs. So I'm all about that. I can live in that world. So if you've learned anything from today's edition of Two Mics, No Filter, I'm going to see how well our osmosis is. So if you've learned anything, it's 3 words. Oh, no, wait. Well, yeah, I mean, it's 5 words, technically, if you want to say this. But if you've learned anything from our show, I'm going to see if you know what I know. You want to try and say it together? It's something you said and something I made reference to after you said it.
No, I have no idea.
You have no idea?
No idea. I'm trying to think.
The sense of the Witty Wicks thing. If you've learned anything, it's that you can buy
yourself flowers.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I guarantee you, Tom Brady and Gisele are both individually buying themselves flowers.
Yeah. And I can also agree that there's plenty of men and women out there that would be more than happy to buy them flowers too. So
I'm married and I will buy him flowers.
We're not going to end on that note. Buy yourself flowers, folks. Have a fantastic day. Tom Brady, keep that porcelain chin pristine, the little butt chin he's got going. Listen, I don't want to knock on Tom Brady. He's a pretty boy, but my best to you, Tom.
And he wasn't always, so it's okay to be like he's like a me. Did a little tweak here and there, and look at him now.
Yeah. So Tom Brady, shout out to you and to Gisele. We hope you're happy. And folks, remember that you can always buy your own self some dang flowers. Sure. Thanks, Andrea.
Cafe Cabal offers same-day local delivery of our products, offering no delivery charge for Onondaga County. Shop cafecabal.com for fresh roasted coffee beans, cold brew, travel mugs, and all your essential Cafe Cabal needs. Cafe Cabal, coffee for the soul.
This is Amy from Mother's Cupboard, home of the whole frittata. We are open daily 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. For takeout orders, call 315-432-0942 and tune in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora for our monthly food challenge and try our Wake Up Call signature menu item available 7 days a week. Here at Mother's Cupboard, we are Central New York, and it's our honor to serve you.
Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory remind us that every day is worth celebrating. Find them at 201 Old 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York, open Monday through Saturday in-store and all the time online at maandpaspopcorn.com. Serving our Central New York community and beyond, you can order all throughout the country at maandpaspopcorn.com. And remember to get your tins, which have in-store half-price refills forever. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory, available to you for fundraising and all of your events by calling 315-450-6272. That's 315-450-6272. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. How corny are you?
Woody Wicks Candles and Gift Shop, Township 5 Camillus, where you will find handcrafted all-natural soy wax candles over 60 cents to freshen up your home. We carry a wide range of locally made items, Salsa Q's, Syracuse Salt, and Chocolate Pizza Company, to name a few. Let our knowledgeable staff help choose unique gifts and keepsakes for any occasion. Gifts for family and friends, and maybe a little something for yourself. Woody Wicks Candles and Gift Shop, Township 5 Camillus.
This is a special message from Merritt Brady, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Watertown on 1290 Arsenal Street in Watertown, New York.
Chick-fil-A for me has always been about the people. I think it starts with the strength and leadership of the Cathy family. It's just amazing to see a family-run business reach the altitude that they have. Second mile service is something that we embodied at my previous business, and the ability to make people feel like they're the only person at your establishment, that you are there to serve them that day and looking for those extra ways to make them happy, to anticipate what they need next is what makes me tick. And I'm going to have so many opportunities at Chick-fil-A to do that. It's one of my favorite things to eat in the world. My favorite application question or interview question when I'm interviewing is when I get to, have you ever eaten at Chick-fil-A? And a smile hits both their ears. You know, they can't even answer the question for a second. And when I see that, it's like, man, that's going to be a great hire. They already get it. They already feel it. They already know that we're different. The Chick-fil-A experience, it's a real thing. And then, of course, just our generosity and community involvement and making a positive impact in the lives of our team members, our guests, and the community in general, I think is really the secret sauce.
Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Kubal studios, hanging out with you where sports truly meets that thing called life. I appreciate you being here with us every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time, and I'm happy we got to spend some extra time with you as we typically do daily here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Plenty of awesome stuff coming up. I need y'all to make sure that you stay close to our social media. Facebook at Wake Up Call DT, Twitter at Call DT, and Instagram at Wake Up Call _DT. Reason being, I'm going to be unveiling the newest episode of Downtown with Dan. And that Downtown with Dan feature is going to have 3 of the newest menu items now available at 317 at Montgomery Street Restaurant, 317 Montgomery Street in downtown Syracuse. Their new menu, we have a conversation showing the food, taste testing the food, and describing everything that I'm getting from that food. So you don't want to miss it. And all new Downtown with Dan coming to you on all social media, as well as on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. So pay close attention for when we're going to be unveiling that, because I'm very excited about it, and I'm excited for you to try the new food at 317 at Montgomery. I only ask that you save some for me. Big shout out to everyone that we had here today and all of our wonderful specials. Thanks to Carvel DeWitt for the annoying moment of the week, Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay for lead, learn, evolve, ad-lib, and deliver, K9 Kamp Dog Daycare, and K9 Kampground Dog Boarding for the top dog of the week. Shout out to all of our top dogs, all of the NFL award winners. Love that there's a Jim Brown award. And like I said, not to take anything from Brian Daboll or Pat Mahomes away, I just wanted to show some love. And it would have been great if we could have like a co-coach of the year, because I think Doug Peterson was in there, and a co-MVP with Jalen Hurts and Pat Mahomes, because, I mean, these are the 2 final quarterbacks standing in the NFL for the championship game coming up this weekend, and I think very fittingly. So shout out to them both. And a big thanks and a shout out to my co-host for Two Mics No Filter, Andrea Smith. We used your topic. So we've asked you to send out topics. You've sent them to us. You sent us a Valentine's Day one. So that's going to be coming up next week. But I want to thank you so much, folks, for sending off your topics. We're going to continue to do this with Two Mics No Filter. I'm going to put out on our social media, what would you like us to talk about? Send us over some topics. If we like the topic, then we may use it on the show. We use the topic on Tom Brady and Gisele, leading us into the grander picture of why can't you have it all, follow your dreams, and be able to have that relationship. Why can't those two things coincide and work together under the same roof? So thank you for sending that topic over to us. We used it, and we appreciate it. So we're going to be using a Valentine's Day one that was sent over to us as well for Valentine's week, and we'd love for you to continue to send those. So stay close to our social media for when I put out that post saying, hey, send us your topics, your ideas, and we may be using yours in the next broadcast of Two Mics No Filter inside a Wake Up Call. With that being said, thank you once again so very much for tuning in every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time on MixLR, Facebook, MixLR.com, Facebook.com, and YouTube.com, all /Wake Up Call DT, as well as on Facebook.com/LiveNowDT, and on WakeUpCallDT.com. We appreciate you for being with us every single Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. And, of course, once we go live, we jump into the archives, and we love finding you here in the archives as well. Amazon Music, Audible, iHeartRadio, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts, MixLR, Player FM, Podbean, Podvine, Spotify, Stitcher, YouTube, TuneIn. All you have to do is search Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, or one word, Wake Up Call DT, on any one of these outlets, and you'll be able to hang out with me where sports meets life. So appreciate you so very much for those of you that have downloaded us, bookmarked us, saved us, and listened into the broadcast. Big thanks to our incredible partners in the community, Cafe Cubal, Carvel DeWitt, the Wildcat Sports Pub, Witty Wicks, Canine Camp Dog Daycare, Avicoli's, Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory, as well as PB&J's Lunchbox. Big old thanks as well to Chick-fil-A Watertown, Great Lakes Honda City, Canine Kampground, Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay, Mother's Cupboard, 317 at Montgomery Street Restaurant, Pizza Man, and of course, Wake Up Call is proud to be exclusive multimedia marketing partner of your. Lemoyne College Dolphins. It is Fins Up every single month on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, and we have Dolphin Time every Wednesday at 9 a.m. Eastern Time with your Lemoyne College Dolphins. We have Dolphin Time Wednesdays at 9 a.m. exclusively on Wake Up Call. Every first and third Wednesday of each month is AD and DT with Athletics Director Bob Beretta and myself, Dan Tortora. Every second and fourth Wednesday, we have the Dolphin Dive, diving into the stories of student athletes, coaches, administration, as well as future Dolphins and alumni. You can check out all of these wonderful specials by going to the Lemoyne tab on wakeupcalldt.com, as well as by going to our YouTube channel and subscribing, youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. For more information, go to LemoyneDolphins.com. The Bryan and Stratton College Bobcats of Syracuse are exclusive multimedia marketing partners with Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. You can check out your Bobcats in the Bobcat Buzz specials on the BSC Syracuse tab on wakeupcalldt.com and by subscribing to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. Pay close attention every single month on social media. We'll let you know when our Bobcat Buzz specials are coming up. I'm going to have some for you tonight for the men's and women's basketball doubleheader for Bryan and Stratton College of Syracuse, happening here at home in Syracuse at the Boys and Girls Club on Hamilton Street in Syracuse, New York. So come out and support your Bobcats tonight. You'll see me there. Come over, say hello. And, of course, we'll have some Bobcat Buzz specials coming up for you tonight on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. For more information on the Bobcats, go to syracuse.bscbobcats.com. with that being said, here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, once again, find us Facebook at Wake Up Call DT, Twitter at Call DT, Instagram at Wake Up Call _DT, and a big old thanks to all of you for watching and listening. A thanks to God above all. I am so very happy, Lord, that you have given me the opportunity to do what I love and love what I do. And I appreciate you so very much for working with me every single day for me and never against me. I hope you all have a great day. I hope you take care. Stay safe. Cafe Kubal, head out there today. Support local with all of our great partners. And, of course, always burning bright here in the studio. And I got to go get a new one today. Mother Fudger is this beautiful chocolate smelling candle that I love so very much. And it is rivaling my Namaste at home because that's the one that's typically lit all the time in the studio. So big shout out to Witty Wicks. Inside the Cafe Kubal studios, you'll see Witty Wicks right here. We have Q's Home Sweet Home, the 315 Syracuse sign. We have our 315 Home Sweet Home signs. Our upstate New York, our light that you can actually get on, you could get the ornament, you could get it on hats as well. The upside down street light that we have right by Coleman's in Syracuse, and actually by where Brian and Stratton plays at the Boys and Girls Club. So many great things here. Another Witty Wicks candle behind me. So many awesome things here in these Cafe Kubal studios that are presented by Witty Wicks. I want to thank Witty Wicks for decking out our studio, for decking out my office, my house, and for giving me literally more than half of the gifts that I gave this Christmas and holiday season went out to my loved ones courtesy of Witty Wicks. I spent a lot of money at Witty Wicks, so I definitely appreciate all that they bring to the table. I love how unique they are, and for those of you that came out to the show last night, thank you to support the West Genesee Wildcats, West Genesee boys ice hockey team, and the Wildcat Sports Pub. I was out there with my upstate hat on and one of my upstate long sleeve hoodies, and those are both courtesy of Witty Wicks. So shout out to Witty Wicks for all that you do. Thanks for decking me out nice and my studio out nice as well. Head out to Witty Wicks today. For now, folks, I hope you have a fantastic day. And once again, my winner of the big game, Eagles over Chiefs, 28-23 is the score that I have in my head. I don't know if that's going to be end score. It might be 31-23, but I have 28-23 in my head, and it's been staying there for over a week now. So I got Eagles over Chiefs. I know that'll make one of my closest friends and brothers, Rob Drummond, very happy. And I hope you all enjoy the game. Have a fantastic weekend. I look forward to seeing you at the Bryan and Stratton basketball doubleheader tonight, starting at 5:30, with the men continuing around 7:30 after the women. And beyond that, keep with us. We got a Downtown with Dan special coming up where I get to taste test the menu and show you and tell you just how absolutely great it is. So you can go in and try it yourself at 317 Montgomery Street in downtown Syracuse for 317 at Montgomery Street Restaurant. So we'll do Downtown with Dan. We got the doubleheader tonight for Bryan and Stratton men's and women's basketball in Syracuse. We got the big game coming up with the Eagles and the Chiefs and so much more. So stay close to us, stay with us, and I look forward to seeing you very soon on our social media. God bless. No stress. Do your best, folks.